Salute everyone. The streets are buzzing. Hope you're well. Welcome to the chat show. We shout you out. We keep it 100. Healthy Knicks talk. The New York Knicks took a loss on the first game back after All-Star break. Hope you're well. Hope you had a restful period. Stress-free with no Knicks games. But we're going to talk about the news. Tonight's game. Salute chat. We shout you out. Hope you're well. Kaiser Soze, appreciate you, fam. Drew, Geraldine, everyone out here. We're going to talk about beautiful game from RJ Barrett tonight. The Knicks loss, and we're going to look ahead, to this rotation. What are the Knicks doing? What are their plans for the rest of the season? We saw a couple little wrinkles tonight with no Taj Gibson and no Nerlens Noel. You could say that was a surprise. It certainly took me by surprise. And shout out to the Knicks for giving Jericho Sims an opportunity tonight. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the Quentin Grimes situation. Unfortunately, that young stud hurt himself. Looks like he'll be out for you know who knows, but fingers crossed, prayers up for Quentin Grimes. It could be a week, could be more, could be the rest of the season. As we know, Derrick Rose had to have another minor procedure tonight. We'll talk about that. But let's start first with RJ Barrett. I put in the chat earlier, I talked about RJ after he hit the banker, the game winner against Boston. I said RJ Barrett's confidence would just grow from there on out, and it's proven to be true. You get the monkey off the back when you hit your first game winner, in a setting like that. And RJ Barrett's just gone on from strength to strength after that, right? And I said then after the game, I said RJ Barrett would be the Knicks' best player for the second half of this season, right? You could argue he's our best player already, but back then after that game, I said RJ Barrett's confidence is just going to continue to grow, and it's just going to carry him on for bigger and better things. And tonight was just on another level, right? Without a doubt, not just career high, but without a doubt, RJ Barrett's best game as a New York Knick. Very proud of him. Stand up. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. I wasn't not going to go on and not talk about tonight's performance because I don't really care about the wins and losses right at this point. Right, I know a lot of you are on the same page as me, and we're looking ahead, for this ball club, and we're trying to build that foundation first, that building block, and get that right, get the foundations right. And RJ Barrett's a huge part of that, and he's just his game's, slowly maturing. It's growing. He's taken on the challenge of scoring, which is beautiful to see. He's shooting off the dribble, off his 3-point shooting's improved enormously, but they're not able to stop him from getting to the cup. Yeah, salute to Drew. Once a Knick, always a Knick. Salute, fam. Yeah, we are tanking, win or lose, right? You know, the beautiful thing is there are players that just don't help us win right now. So I don't really think the Knicks could try to tank. Really, the players we have are enough to get us losses at this point, and as well as the schedule, ladies and gentlemen, the schedule's absolutely you know brutal right now for the Knicks, and it's not helping the Knicks try to get any wins. So it's working out in our favor, right? We can just play some players, try to compete, you know, try to compete and go toe to toe with some of these teams, but we're gonna fall short like we did tonight. And Drew, RJ scores 30 and a half. Stephen A. This game makes me not lament we didn't draft Ja Morant. Yeah, Stephen A. Everyone riding the jock strap of one Ja Morant and everyone else not named RJ Barrett. But I'm glad, tonight he put this performance in the books, and he should be proud. And yeah, once a Nick, we need the point guard, absolutely right. Alec Burks, not the solution. Frustrations abound. Alec Burks come out playing point again. It was to be expected. We know Derrick Rose went down. Prayers up to D Rose, the warrior. Doesn't appear to be a big procedure. D Rose. We've heard tonight it was a skin infection. After the first procedure, and that D Rose should be back. Within possibly a week or two. According to Woj. So take that as what you will, right? But I don't think Derrick Rose will play much of a part in this the rest of this season anyway, right? Um, how long can we continue to ride that man into the ground first, before we put his health first, right? Do what we're doing to Kemba Walker, sit him on the sidelines, let him, heal up and get himself right. Salute Tariq. Can you believe that some people had the audacity to doubt one star Jay Barrett? No, I can't believe that as well. The proof's in the pudding for RJ, right? He's excelled at every level of this game, right? From junior to high school, college. RJ Barrett's just been, a high achiever wherever he's been, right? And it was a slow start to his pro career. I must admit, rookie, sophomore. There were some times when the the uh, the the slump, the performances weren't matching up. But you always needed to keep the faith with RJ. His game's solid. He doesn't get rattled. Mentally, he's as strong as they get. Right. He's built for New York. Right. And we're so lucky to have a player like that. We've been crying out for a player that wants to be here, and then a player that's also fit to be king. In New York. He's taken it in his stride. Salute, be civilized, and chat. RJ looked great after coming back from injury, and Randall was looking a little jelly tonight with all those RJ chants at MSG. Shout out to the MSG crowd for serenading RJ Star J Barrett tonight. On the night where they also announced Clyde the GOAT, enters the Hall of Fame, in the broadcasting field, player and broadcast now. Salute to Clyde the GOAT. And we took the loss, but like I said, I'm not riding wins and losses right now. If anything, this probably tonight's loss sets us back to 10 games under 500. And you know what that means? That means we get one step closer to mathematically not, making the play in. I know it's frustrating for some fans that want to win still, but at the end of the day, you can't be mad when young players play like this tonight. We gave Miami Heat all they could handle, in a game where Randall didn't really have a going. Salute Adam, salute. Randall didn't have it going. Free throws, we'll talk about that. RJ could have had himself a 50 piece, right? A 50 piece. And that would have been stunning. 46 is good enough. Tonight, he put the NBA on notice. We heard from some quotes from the opponents, Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler paying a mad respect to RJ Barrett, and rightfully so, right? It's about time the league start respecting RJ Barrett and us. He got a lot of foul calls, which is about time. He got to the cup at will. They couldn't stop him. He was going at Kyle Lowry. He was going at Tyler Hero. He was going at PJ Tucker. He was going at everybody right now. And I want you guys to tell me in the chat, what does this performance tonight change for the rest of the season, if any? Does it just cement what we already knew, right? Should we just pseudo feature RJ Barrett and run the offense through him, right, for the rest of this season, right? This talk, they're going to explore some Julius Randle trade, proposals. That's coming. I feel like that's coming. But the rest of this season, right, RJ Barrett's confidence is going to continue to grow. And I'm going to put this on record. I would not be surprised if we see another 40, 45, 50 piece, in the rest of this season, right? You know why? When players play loose, when the results don't really matter, and the players are just playing free, they're playing, they're enjoying the game, they're loving it. They play to their maximum capacity. You know, they put up shots. Salute Elton Lee. They put up the shots with carefree right now, and you just saw Star J Barrett just have himself a game. He was smiling. He was having fun out there as well. And also got to give credit to the team, credit to Randall tonight in parts, because they acknowledged the hot hand. You know, in games past, like we all know, months ago, this would have been a game where Star J could have got frozen out. Could have got frozen out of the offense, but that didn't happen tonight. Julius acknowledged what was going on. He fed Barrett, bully Barrett, and he got to the cup at will against Miami. Played physical against our old-time rival, and we gave Miami all that they could handle. Right? You could argue if Tibbs really coached to try and win the game with Nerlens or with Taj, we had some other horses available. Grimes didn't go down. Yeah, you could argue that we would have been a lot closer as well. Um, salute Bonson. Salute. we need set we need to set Deuce free real minutes, and IQ is not a point guard as well. Hey, you hit with that one, Bonson. Deuce, free Deuce. It's time now. He got some, a couple minutes tonight, but quickly. Look, quickly is a scoring guard. He's score first. He's learning the ropes. If you can ever learn to play point consistently, that'll be down the line. But yeah, you're right. I don't think IQ is at that point where he's ready to lead the team yet. Lead a successful team. Be civilized. Jimmy Bucket stated to the press that RJ is going to be the face of New York. Stand up, chat. Be civilized, RJ. Um, Great performance tonight, right? It's going to be talked about for a while. We've seen it. RJ Barrett, buzzer beater. We've seen almost a 50 piece tonight. Is he making that huge leap from his sophomore to third season right now, right before our very eyes? Canal, salute squad. Johnny Davis, salute up in here. Everyone's strong, feeling good after a performance like this from one of our cornerstones. Geraldine says once a Nick, and that's why Tibbs got to go. Um, and Canal, Tom taking us to the 5th pick. Like I said, Canal, um, you know, we got the players that are going to help us get losses right now. I don't think we need to really change up anything in terms of trying to get a loss, right? The players we have will help us get losses. And Drew, did you see Julius throw a hissy fit? Tibbs was going to sub him out. Yeah, good point, Drew. I didn't really see the hissy fit, but I did see something about him rejecting being subbed out. That's interesting. Julius, again, emotional player. We know when he's in the game, he's heated. He wants to be out there as well. I don't read too much into that, but like I said earlier, the squad, they will entertain Julius trade talks, I feel like, and anything's on the table right now with Star J emerging. And Bonson says RJ is a star in the making. His performance tonight solidifies it. And Batman commercial, icing on the cake. So give him the keys. Facts, Bonson. You just threw a little icing on the cake there with the Batman commercial. I was loving that. Great commercial. Took me by surprise. But yeah, he's emerging in New York, right, in Gotham, as the number one option for this club, right? Both on the court and off the court. Let's give RJ's flowers for being a leader, right? He's got a country on his back. Like once a Nick says, Fax hand Canada Mamba, the Keys dominated the best defense as well. They threw everything at us. They threw zone, they threw trap, they threw blitz, everything right then. And RJ, I just love his confidence. He's at that point now. He knows he can dominate. He's got the strength, the size. He's going to be here for decades to come. Let's hope he's a Nick for the rest of his career, right? Because these are the players we want to build around. Like Patrick Ewing, Adam, CT. Glad you brought back Ron, man. You should try getting G-Man for life as well. If you can, shout out. Hey, appreciate you, Adam. Appreciate the support, everyone, as well. Love G-Man. We're all fam. G-Man doing big things as well on his show, The Pod Couple, with Kev, Cornerstone Kev, on the Blorange Tears Network as well. He's always welcome here, G-Man. And I'm glad you mentioned that because Adam and chat have got a lot of fun shows planned, more guests than you can poke a stick at as well coming up. And fingers crossed that another guest earlier next week as well. I'll be revealing more in the days to come. But once Nick says IQ kept freezing out Cam, yeah, tunnel vision with the IQ. That situation. He's in a situation where he's feeding off his instincts. Is Emmanuel quickly, right, for that Kentucky squad? Tyrese Maxey did a lot of the ball handling, and IQ was trusted to hit the big shots, right? And I think that's what's carrying him into this. I think IQ is struggling to shake loose his instinct, but you want a player to play on their instincts, and he's just a scoring guard right now. He's not in a position where he should be leading a team, for 38 minutes tonight. But I'm going to give IQ time. IQ's on a rookie contract, and I love the fact that we can just hold on to these rookies for their whole contract, like we've done with Mitch. Um, like we did with Kevin Knox didn't work out, but we kept him right until the end. Just to give them that chance as well. I don't want to give up on any young player just yet. And Johnny Davis, RJ looked in command, but the rest of the team got exposed. Truth is, we need a few moves to happen, yeah, as well. Yeah, and I like the fans, holding people accountable. Johnny, the Garden, the chants, the boos, Leon Rose, the speculation and the criticism that the front office is getting. Right, we're the biggest franchise in the world. The most valuable, and we've got to hold this team accountable from top to bottom. From owner to front office to the squad. And I think, yeah, we're going to see some changes, no doubt. We're going to see changes this off season. Manchar, what's popping? What's popping? Um, I know you enjoyed Star J's performance tonight. Got Canada on his back as well. Shout out to the man. Um, I was hoping you would get to the 50 piece. I know you guys were there riding along as well. Had he hit a couple of free throws, he would have got the 50 piece. But nonetheless, it was a memorable performance, a memorable night, and a big shiesty. Yeah, thumbs down for the Burks, 34 minutes as well. Um, Disappointing, but we're inching closer and closer to the lottery. We're inching closer towards the end of this season. Let's hope, tonight was a sign of things to come. We saw Jericho Sims get burned now. They froze out Nerlens. They froze out Taj. Yeah, you guys let me know. Were you surprised about that? Were you surprised that Taj and Noel didn't get burned? It wasn't Tibbs' decision. If it's Tibbs' decision, they would have been in there, in the fight. But I think the front office made a pivotal decision, at the All-Star break. No doubt they sat down, they had a chat, and they said, Tibbs, all right, starting with this situation, we got to see what we got in Jericho Sims, because of course we know Mitchell Robinson is a free agent. And salute to Mitch. I'm glad. Good news today. They found his father who was missing for a few days. So salute to that situation. But Mitch, he's got 23, 22 games now to continue to make a statement to try to get that contract. And salute Robert. RJ is a perfectionist and he'll keep going hard until he gets it right. You can't question the kid's heart on the court as well as off the court. I feel, Robert, salute for that comment. Great comment. Um, and I also said this, in the past, playing the playoffs last season just helped Star J as well. Not many lottery picks get a taste of the playoffs for their second season, right? And I think it just made him more hungry as well. And yeah, Bonson, no doubt, is a star in the making. The performance tonight solidifies that. Just give him the keys. And Geraldine, salute, great game. We all know we've had three players, but we've had three players to score over 40 points: Kemba, Evan, and RJ tonight, and we lost all three games. Yeah, keeping it real, Geraldine. Yeah, absolutely tonight. Um, Tonight's loss, I think the team gave it their all. They were just not on the same level as Miami. But I understand, the other games we relied on Evan and we relied on Kemba, a bit too much, in that situation. And be civil. I start IQ at the point, and we might see that third pick. Yeah, nice one, B. And they're probably going to give that a chance. With 22 games left, there's going to be a few twists and turns in this saga. So buckle up, strap yourself in, right? I mean, 22 games are still 22 games. Nerlens, we know, is frozen out now. He was healthy. Taj Gibson, healthy. That signifies that they're probably not going to play. They're probably not going to see any more minutes unless injuries, unless, foul trouble, something like that. And Drew RJ got to be the top 5 shooting guard, small forward in the NBA in the coming years. Yep, thumbs up to that. Salute to everyone. This is Nick's Buzz. Give the like button a shove, and appreciate you all spitting knowledge. And yeah, man-child Quentin Grimes. Let's touch on that now. It looked innocuous. It was a non-contact injury. It looked like a twist of the knee going around the pick, and it looked like obviously like what they say, it was a slight dislocation of the kneecap as well. So you want him to fully heal. You don't want to rush Quentin Grimes back. Wish him all the speedy recovery. I guess like what we said, this will open the door for minutes for somebody, and probably most likely to be Cam Reddish as well. So a small, a small positive out of a tough situation. At least it's not a ligament damage. You could deal with dislocation with a kneecap. That's not hampering long term. So, thumbs up for his speedy recovery. And big shiesty, RJ haters, crickets, big shiesty, nowhere to be found as well. Yeah, you're right. However many there are, but the doubters that should be silenced now. And salute Joseph. Two things: look at the front office, and Tibbs found some common ground, and fans have to relax about the loss. It's the first baby step in the right direction. Spot on, Joseph, as well. I don't know about the front office and Tibbs finding some common ground. It was probably a little bit more of the front office sitting Tibbs down, and say, "Hey, your job might just be on the line here." Um, but no, I hear what you're saying too. For us at least, yeah, it looks like they're compromising somewhat. We just got to get the Alec Burks situation out of here. Um, play Deuce McBride at point. We know quickly is not the right point option right now. D Rose probably going to be out for 2 more weeks at least as well. So, um, lottery, here we come, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what you guys are thinking. Sure, there's a chance that we could hit the 10th seed, but I don't think it's going to happen. Right, the schedule is just too tough right now, and the players we got, you know, yeah, are helping us take some losses still, with this rotation. And Tarek, Nixian thinking, fire coaches and then trade everybody every year. Shake my head. So sounds like, yeah, you want more stability. You want, silencing some of the the firing talk as well. Um, patience. Patience is a difficult thing. We've been losing for a long, long time. I see both sides. I see your point about stability with this thing, but we got to see the front office and we got to see Tibbs on the same page, right? We just got to see if Tibbs does stick around, we've got to see him listen to to the front office a bit more as well. Collaborate. This is what this thing is, a collaboration. And of course, things getting tricky with Gerson Roses, the new consultant now in the kitchen. We've talked about some beat writers and things about a lot of cooks in the kitchen, ladies and gents. We just got another dude now in here as well. And Robert, since nobody's saying it, Mitch can be replaced. Bad hands and can't do anything with the ball in his hands. Um, Robert, the fan base is divided on Mitch right now. I think he silenced the injury, argument. He silenced the foul trouble argument. Salute to Mitch. He's been one of the more consistent players this season. For me, where the argument starts is, like you're saying, what else can he do with the ball? How much of his upside do you believe in for Mitch? And also the contract, dollars got to make sense at the end of the day. Brock Aller, is playing a big part in decision making with this team. The dollars got to make sense, I guess. And there's 22 games left. If I had to put a gun to my head, make a decision, I'll probably say that Mitchell Robinson might be signed and traded. I think he's got a lot of believers in the front office. I think Scott Perry highly believes in Mitchell Robinson. He was part of getting him in here as well. I just don't know if our timeline in terms of committing money, so far, they might have other plans in mind, with Star J, maybe Cam Reddish, maybe that other dude in New Orleans who we'll talk about later. And salute Wilson, got us all buzzing. The chat's on fire. We shout you out. We keep it real. Just healthy Knicks talk. And once a Nick, always a Nick. I was glad to see Sims first off the bench bring on the youth. Yep. Yeah, salute to that move right then and there. Another positive for the night. I'd probably say after Star J Barrett's performance tonight, second positive was that pivoting of a situation with Jericho coming in here. Now he didn't really take the ball by the horns tonight. He was better for the hit out. But I think, if this is the move, this is the play for the rest of the season, then I'm all for that, right? Um, it sounds like they've had enough for Nerlens Noel. In the words of Ron Cleveland, this is your captain speaking. Nerlens Noel, please put your seat in an upright position and prepare for takeoff. Looks like Nerlens Noel is frozen out now. They're sick of his, in and out durability issues. If you connect the dots, right, the fact that they want to see, Jericho Sims play a bit more, that tells you all you need to do as well. And salute to the chat, everyone up in here. Canal, who are we losing to next? Philly. Yep. Touching on that, Canal and everybody, we've got a home and home against Philly, coming up now. It's going to be tough again. We saw James Harden, suit up tonight for his first performance, for the Sixers. Got Joel Embiid, entrenched in the MVP race right now. They're playing for something meaningful, right? And we're not. Um, could we see a bit more of a pivoting in terms of younger players getting more minutes now too? I thought, Toppin, had an opportunity tonight to, claim some more minutes. He struggled a bit as well, but I think as we get closer and closer to that finish line, we're going to start to see a longer leash with these guys, because I think the front office has got a bit more of a stranglehold on Tibbs now in terms of that back and forth push, in those arguments in the front office. Yeah, Joseph, it's obvious the kids don't know how to play together yet. They need to keep playing time together. Flourish. Unfortunately, Tibbs not the right coach to develop their full potential. So, well, a lot of decisions going to be made, guys, in the summer as well, leading up to the draft, and the philosophy. We got to get the philosophy right. Like you say, all the moves will come, in due course, but they've got to decide where do they want to go. You know, do they want to be a team that plays this thing a bit more patient, right? We know Tibbs is 64 years old. He wants to coach and to win every single performance, every single night. And he doesn't like the whole rebuild process. That's all on record. He just does not like that rebuild process. At his age, and he's been entrenched in Eastern Conference Finals so many times. He's won chips as an assistant with Boston. He just doesn't want to go that route. Um, so it's interesting. Could Johnny Bryant be that next dude in waiting? We know the talk. There's Worldwide Wesley talking to James Dolan. He's got James Dolan's ear as well. Is Tibbs a lame duck? Stay tuned. For the rest of the season, we're going to see more and hints in terms of moves counterproductive to Tibbs's philosophy, like tonight with Jericho Sims. And like Manchol says, yeah, turnovers killed us tonight. Turnovers killed us. And yeah, salute Will, salute fam. Yeah, Adam. Yeah, CTIQ does not look good on point, and Tibbs should put McBride. Yeah, at the point, absolutely. And like Robert touches on, the late game turnovers look like a glitch on a video game, just literally throwing the ball away like a hot potato, right? In the passing lane, just saying, here, have an open court dunk as well. I think they just got to calm themselves down. And again, I think that a small percentage of that points towards the coach. He's always got the players on edge, which is, it could be healthy, but it could also be counterproductive for young players too. You know, they're always panicky, always looking to pass the ball like it's a hot potato. Just settle things down, right? The games don't really mean too much right now. You should be playing for it loose, carefree. Just don't be rushed. Play at your own pace. Things like that, right? Don't be listening to what Tom Thibodeau's barking at you on the sideline, right? Just play to your instincts. And Bonson definitely surprised they froze out Taj and Noel. They definitely spoke with Tibbs. Yep, absolutely, Bonson. Connect the dots in terms of counterproductive to his philosophy, as well. And salute atmosphere, salute, welcome, and salute Heck for the love of the game. Salute everybody, like and subscribe to that platform, doing big things with L and Hard Will. Salute brothers out here. Been one thing we could say. The season hasn't been great for the New York Knicks, but the coverage. The coverage is always. We're the best fan base in the world. The chat, the fan base, the pods, the coverage, and everything's been on point. Right, we've been through some bumps this season. Right, we've been on one hell of a roller coaster with inconsistency, you know, coming from the expectations we had from last season, right? We're all hyped, we're all juiced up, and it's sinking in now that we're not going to, be part of the postseason now. Most likely now, we're 10 games under 500, 25 and 35. Heading into a home and home against Philly. Then after Philly, who we got? Um, After Philly, we got the Phoenix Suns, then we got the Clippers, brutal West Coast trip, the Sacktown, the Dallas Mavs, the Grizzlies, and then the Nets. So that's going to spell our fate for the season. That stretch right there. And Manchild's got some stats for us. RJ Barrett became the youngest Nick to score 46 points since 1947. I appreciate that. You hit with that one as well. Let that sink in. In the words of Ron, again, some people were being quite harsh on that situation. I understand they wanted to see more from RJ, and we're seeing things in the nick of time right now, and just fantastic game, Adam. If he hit all his free throws, would have been talking about a 55-point piece. Facts, right? I'm just happy for him, happy for the Knicks. Got a young player, in that situation, thriving now, playing loose, free, confident. That's all he needed, was to hit that buzzer beater against Boston and realize that he's the Batman now, literally and figuratively, in Batman commercials right now, starring on Broadway. And Robert, what's going on? What's going on, everyone? And yeah, Truth says not Tibbs's fault. Okay, yeah, Tibbs still got some supporters out here. What he did for us last season. Coached his A off with that situation. But there's a lot of people unhappy with the way he's handled this situation. He has a lot of blind faith in a lot of players, and not much faith in some other players. Right? There's not too much in between. It is what it is. I think it's a philosophy of his situation. Like I said, 64 years old. He's been to the top of the mountain before, and his patience level is thin. Tom Thibodeau wants to get to the top of the mountain too quick, right? This team is just not possible. We can't get that far. We don't have the horses right now for what Tom Thibodeau wants, right? That's a fact, right? The front office tried to give him some upgrades. They bungled the bag as well. Yeah, everybody's culpable right now, but everybody got to adjust. Now, we need to adjust to where we're at realistically. We're seeing glimmers of the future tonight. It's plain to see, Pat Riley, Jimmy Buckets, Bam Adebayo, all paying homage to Star J Barrett as the future of this club, right? They're not singing no praises of Julius Randle or Tom Thibodeau right now. Um, RJ put us on his back tonight, and he's going to put us on his back for the rest of this season and leading into a huge summer as well. We've got to get with that timeline. Let's see, whether they pair him up with Cam for the future long term. They got to get a young stud point guard up in here. Draft night's going to be wild. Buckle up. The summer free agency is going to be wild as well. But there are a few things I'm looking forward to for the rest of this season, and watching RJ Barrett play like this tonight is going to be at the top of that list. And J Dub, we need to fire Tibbs because we need to move on with the youth. Tibbs and management not on the same page. We must be smart and make moves that fit our timeline. So, like you said, J Dub, smart is the key word you said. Just acknowledging where we're at. Like I said, Tom Thibodeau's a fine coach. He can coach. I'm not questioning his coaching ability. He can get the most out of a squad. We've seen that year after year. But when the roster's not matching his philosophy, his timeline, all those things, it's okay to part ways and just say, hey, you're just not the right guy for right now as well. And Manchol says, yeah, the tank rolling faster than the Russian tank going into Ukraine as well. Yeah, atmosphere salute. I've been telling people you have to be patient with RJ and let him figure it out at his own pace, not when fans want, when he develops. Give him time to shine. Yeah, absolutely, atmosphere. And it's about acknowledging him too. You know, there are situations in so many games where we froze him out. Like I said, there was tonight, he had 30 in the first half, but there were many, many games when RJ had 15 in the first quarter or 10 in the first quarter, and the game just didn't go according to plan after that. Right? We need to acknowledge, and I did put this out there, but I did say I'd like to see RJ run the point a bit more. Run the offense some more. Right? Let him make some mistakes and play like get that development minutes like Jimmy Buckets did, and I appreciate that, Drew. CT Superstar J, not Star J, Superstar J. And J Dub, the draft is not that loaded, but we got to find that hidden gem. Yeah, we got to let Walt Perrin and this scouting staff find their niche, right? They can find them. They can find this diamond in the rough. But I will tell everyone, you've seen some of the draft coverage I've been putting out recently, and more to come. But this draft is deep. It's deep. You're going to find some heavy rotation plays in the second round. Mark my words. In this draft, we've got to find those hidden gems, just like J Dub says. And yeah, Adam, good job, CT, with Ron, captain speaking. You buzz, and I appreciate you all as well. You know, always in touch with my man's Ron, and hopefully we've got some big things planned, which we'll talk about later. But Elton Lee, games like this show why Mitch is not a viable option for a starting center. He was supposed to dominate the undersized Miami lineup. And I guess that's the knock on paying Mitch, Elton Lee, and everybody. We know Mitch in spurts can dominate games, but is he doing it consistently enough? Right? Is he doing it consistently enough? And I salute my guy. Yep, Tibbs in that first Uber to JFK, up out of here as well. Get him up out of here. Just not on the right timeline for this situation. And this has been posed to me, but let me know what you guys think. Would you be okay if Tibbs stuck around but moved up to the front office? I don't know if James Dolan wants to shelve out another payout. Another payout for a dude that's not playing, not coaching, not doing nothing. Right? The man's been so generous, spreading money around like it's charity. And yeah, facts, right. And Troy salute. Alec Burks playing point, right. Tibbs's defense of that, he goes back to the numbers. The Knicks were like 8-9 or 8-8 when Alec Burks starts, right? That's just being selling yourself short, basically. Just plucking those numbers to try and validate that that's the best course of action, the best way forward right now, right? Yeah, you could talk about Alec Burks as in our record. We don't know the teams we played with Alec Burks, starting as well, played into that. And Alec Burks' best role, the main thing is he's not even a point guard, but his best role is a spark plug off the bench. And we need to put him back in that role. But hey, we're not even here to win games. So Alec Burks, they tried to move him on. We talked about that trade with Cam Reddish to get a first round pick. At the end of the day, they just didn't want to part ways with two assets to get one asset back, just to dump some salary. And I can understand. I'm glad they didn't make that move. And what's good, Knicks Brazil. Everyone, Knicks fans, Brazil, hit up that channel, like, subscribe, doing huge things. Appreciate my friends out there in Brazil, Victor, Bruno, and the team. Salute to everybody in Brazil. And yeah, for the love of the game as well. That's a fact. Our community, probably the best thing keeping us sane. Yeah, absolutely right. The support, let that sink in. Like he says, appreciate you. And G Money, salute. RJ played his heart out. I wish we'd have made his free throws though. Yeah, I think he's made improvements with the free throws. I think tonight was fatigue and a bit of excitement. I think he could, in his eyes, he could see that 50 piece. And he rushed. I think he rushed a couple of those, free throws. And that yeah, Gotham RJ is the hero we all deserve. Absolutely right. Um, yeah, facts right. I'm glad he's getting his shine, but he's putting in work right now. And RJ is not going to be that dude to let any small success get to his head. He's going to be a dude that just pushes forward. We saw him upset tonight, when he got taken out of the game, when he smashed the chair. He did that out of frustration. He wanted to be out there, right, sticking it to Jimmy Buckets, right? The dude who is quietly mentoring RJ. Yeah, what do you guys think about that? He's pushing RJ. He's willing RJ. Real recognize real at times. And I think, was it 1 year ago or something, Jimmy Buckets, there was that game where he was giving RJ mid-game tips, and then he was using the tips against him. And now those two have built some sort of, friendly rivalry going back and forth as well. It's beautiful to see. You could see RJ, he's ready to pass RJ the mantle. I think when Jimmy Buckets is probably maybe 2, 3 more years from now, he's not the dude anymore. He knows that RJ Barrett's going to straight dominate him. And G Money says, also last year's team had the 5-game skid for a span, and this Knicks team might have an 8-game skid going into the Knicks game on March 7. yeah, the West Coast trip, G Money, yeah, it's going to be brutal. And like I said about the tank, we don't even need to try and tank. Like I've been telling everybody, you know, just playing this lineup suffice for losing. Of course, we want to see Deuce McBride play some more. We want to see Alec Burks out of the point guard starting spot. Um, we don't want to see Quickly's confidence totally shattered. So, take him out of the point guard situation. I'd love to see, like I said, Deuce McBride, and I'd love to see RJ Barrett run some of the offense, right? Because you got 22 games left. You want to let those games go to players that you know are going to be around for the future. And RJ Barrett, he can only benefit from being able to afford the ability to make mistakes, you know, turn the ball over even, all of those things. At least it's confidence building. Um, and B Willis, salute. It's a blessing that RJ did tweak his ankle because that time off made the game, um, yeah, good for him as well. Slow down for him as well. Yeah, absolutely. B Willis. I think for everybody, the breaks, it's good. Good part of the season to switch off. Right, these guys live and breathe basketball, a lot, and you could see RJ Barrett circled this one on his calendar with Jimmy Butler out here as well, and Tarek says, yeah, losing when you're trying to win is one thing, but intentionally tanking, yeah, is a loser's mentality. Yeah. And as we know, players never tank themselves. It's the front office and coaching that puts the team in certain positions, ladies and gents, to lose the game, right? Um, do you guys think that Julius's minutes will decrease? Let's say with 10 games left, let's say we're out of it mathematically. Do we pack it up and let Julius rest for the season, right, and get ready? Right, and then bring on the rest, bring on Obi and Cam, all of that. That boy Barrett play the 90s style ball, bully ball as well. Yeah, he's got it all. He's got the post up game. He's shooting now off the dribble, which was great. His handle's getting tighter. His finishing is improving. Like I said, if he got the free throws down pat, right, and now he's getting star calls, maybe not superstar calls, but he's getting calls now, getting to the cup. You just love to see it, right? His confidence is growing. Um, do you guys think, should we put it out there now? All star. Could RJ Barrett be that all star for season 4, right? And on his rookie contract, right? How many New York Knicks historians out there watching in the chat? How many Knicks players on their rookie contract have become an all star? Um, you know, you guys probably hit that up quicker than I can. Let me know. Were there any past Knicks All Stars on their rookie contract? I'm going to guess Patrick Ewing was one of them. Drew, two good things Steve Mills did. He drafted KP to trade off the bad deals and draft Star J, Canada's greatest ever player since Nash. So yeah, it was a bit of a no-brainer as well. But you know, finally some lady luck smiled upon the New York Knicks with that situation, right? It was a horrible season. We got the third pick out of it, and here we are as well, making some noise. Yeah, and Atmosphere, how do you go from coach of the year to being a whack coach? Yeah, like I said, Tibbs, he can definitely coach up a team. He's good for a team that's ready to compete, basically. And right now, the New York Knicks, the roster's not where Tibbs would want to be at. Now, if he's patient enough to want to stick with this squad and rebuild slower, maybe then the front office and Tibbs could find some common ground. And Heck wants Jerry Stack. Yeah, Stack's long overdue, my friend, for a coaching gig right now. Who's going to be the first one, to give him that gig, right? Um, I think the days are numbered for Frank Vogel as well. We know LeBron, the GM, is going to make some shake up out there. J Dub, I feel for RJ to take control of this team. They must move on from Randall. Cam and Deuce got to get more time as well. Yeah, it's interesting. Julius, he felt that stardom. He felt New York, serenade him last season. Now he's not being that dude anymore, and he's seeing another teammate get all that accolade and shine. It's up to him in deep within if Julius is accepting of that. Um, we all know, I've always said this, Julius is not the number one guy on anyone's team, right? He's never going to be that dude, right? I know last season he signed that deal and he wants to be that dude. Every player wants to be, but it's not realistic. And if he's willing to accept that second fiddle role, the Robin to RJ's Batman in 2 years' time, 1 year's time, right now, It's up to the front office and Randall, to determine that. Once a Nick, this is the draft why we hired Walt Perrin to find that. Yep, absolutely spot on. Once a Nick, Walt Perrin out here spotting for dimes, searching for diamond in the rough right now, and it's going to be a fun draft. I'm diving more deeper into it, and the more I see, there are some prospects. There are some dudes that can help. In the mid first round, make no mistake, and we might even end up higher than the mid first round. Right, we might get to that 8th, 7th spot, which your chances of jumping into the top four they increase exponentially. Right, we get in that top four spot, could get a Jaden Ivey, somebody like that, that could change our fortunes right now. So let's count these games. The losses are piling up. We've got a brutal home and home against Philly. Let's keep our eye on the pulse. And 007, appreciate you. No way too many cooks in the kitchen already. And enjoy the plane ride, Tibbs, as well. Yep. So you don't want Tibbs in the front office. It's going to be interesting. Does James Dolan want to sit back and eat more money? Right? Eat some contracts. Remains to be seen, ladies and gents. And front office made it hard for Tibbs due to changing our identity and went straight offensive instead of defensive minded as a squad too. Yeah, be civilized hit the nail with that too. They did fail Tibbs in a way, with the signings as well. The front office did just as bad of a job as Tibbs right now. It's just unfortunately it's harder to replace an entire front office and James Dolan clear house with the president as well. Now he's got to eat crow and have egg on his face too. And like Drew says, there's Jaden Ivey and Ty Washington. After that, then the rest suck. Point guards is there, like you said, Ivy, Ty. Let's look at Gene Montero. Gene Montero, he's a Darius Garland light type of prospect, NBA comp. More, he's a bit more of a unknown. Um, I'd say there's some decent wings as well, some solid wings with size. Let's see how high we can get up with this thing. And yeah, we lost our identity, and then we signed bum ass, Fournier, lost the defensive identity that Tibbs wanted. And look, Tibbs has that argument with the front office now. He pushed for Reggie Bullock. That's on record. He wanted that man's back, and the front office couldn't get it done. Adam, I don't know what Tibbs see in Burks, but Tibbs need to bench Burks. Yeah, he does certainly right straight away. We're not getting anything out of this situation, guys, with Burke starting. And let's shake things up. Quickly is not the starting solution either. If you ask me, Deuce McBride and RJ Barrett can run some of the point. Even Cam Reddish can handle the rock a bit. Um, let's see. We're just hurting IQ's confidence, and also I think Deuce McBride. The losses are piling up. Once we're mathematically out, there's going to be no argument right now. I just think they're going to just push for what's best for the future right now, and we know Leon, and that's starting to really chat to Tibbs. CW Flash salute. RJ is the face that runs the place right now, right? The noise is just getting louder as well. Salute, mate. Appreciate everyone up in here. You're watching Knicks Buzz. Give that like button a shove, and I appreciate you all. What a season it's been, and plenty more to come. More shows, more guests coming your way. Um, Stay tuned. Keep it on lock. And Bonson, without D Rose, the season is officially over. We need a good pick out of this draft, and maybe we can move up for Javon Quinnery. Quinnerly is close enough. Yeah, look, there's prospects out here. There's people that could help us. Maybe not superstars or stars just at the moment, but you just never know, right? Kawhi Leonard was picked in the late first round. A lot of players with upside. That's what Walt Perrin do. They earn the big dollars. They're out here trying to separate ourselves from the rest. They wanted Chris Duarte. He looked pretty good this season. So I believe that the New York Knicks, drafting and scouts is the best strength, the best thing going, for this club right now. And Manchester says we can't rely on D Rose, right? With a gazillion surgeries, what a warrior. I said, last season as well. I hope D Rose retires and Nick, so he's got that legacy. He's got the Bulls legacy and the Nick legacy. Last season was beautiful. What D Rose did for us, right? I wanted to see him win a Six Man of the Year award for us. And look, maybe he sticks around next season and can win that Six Man of the Year award next season. But D Rose deserves it all. But he also deserves a chip. You know, maybe we just need to let D Rose go and try to compete next season. As well. And Edwards, salute, fam. Worst part of tonight was hearing the "Let's Go Heat" chants at MSG. It was embarrassing. Yeah, like Mike said, the tickets get cheaper as the season goes, right? The Knick fans aren't turning out like as much as they would, at the start of the season, and it's a shame. But you know what? We feel the heat building as well. So, but yeah, the New York Knicks, it hasn't been a fortress for us this season like it should have been, right? From the very beginning. Let's rewind and losing to Orlando, losing to Cleveland, things like that early on. It was despicable right now, and we need to be better at home. It's sickening, and it's like what we're talking about with Tibbs's defensive identity. Struggling with he hasn't got the right players to defend the cup. Right? How many layups tonight? It was a straight layup line for Tyler Hero. Miscommunication. Now I know Jericho Sims was out there. He's still learning, but man, the help defense. Sometimes Mitch and Julius just were lazy. They didn't even want to rotate as well. So that's got to drive Tibbs mad. And Tarek says no to shutting down Randall. RJ and Randall need to work it out this year into next year. That's a good point. That's a good point as well. Yeah, the reps, the minutes that they need together to play and get on the same page. With RJ possibly taking over the mantle, Randall was unselfish tonight. He didn't have it going with the jump shot, and I want to see more of that. A 007. I like Vogel. Send Tibbs to the Lakers so that we can have as many old players as he ever wanted. That he could have as many old players. Um, yeah, that I don't think that's happening, but yeah, I can see why Vogel. Yeah, he's well respected. He's just asked to coach a dumpster fire straight up, right? It's a straight dumpster fire over there with the Lakers. And Jay, a Manchild says, yeah, the Raptors fired Casey and Sam Mitch after they won, Coach of the Year too, right? Yeah, that was crazy. And Jay says, yeah, Tarek, keeping Randall shouldn't be the play. Yeah, I think the front office is going to entertain deals. I think Julius, the best thing we could hope for is just that he gets his stock up, right? I think benching Randall and ostracizing him is going to have a more negative impact. We just need to, like Jay says, continue to, work things out with each other, like 007 says as well. Um, work together and try to figure this thing out because those two, Randall's stock only needs to go up because it's at an all-time low right now. Joseph, all our bad contracts, including soon to be Mitch's contract, are going to be used for one of those players. Spider, Murray, D Book, all 25 years young and making 30 mil. That's the CAA plan. The clock's ticking. Joseph, everyone on the front office, this summer is going to be huge, right? Huge. You're talking about the mistakes they made. This is a chance for them to rectify some of them. But the money situation, the cooks in the kitchen, it's going to be fascinating what they do on draft night. We know they entertain deals for Julius, despite what anyone says. The stock wasn't where it needed to be. The deals didn't make sense. But we all know on draft night, it's a free for all. It's a frenzy on draft night. There's going to be wheeling and dealing, moving and shaking. Teams trying to pivot. Teams trying to offload deals, contracts. If Tom Thibodeau's still here, I don't see us drafting more than two players. We already have enough young players as it is. So it's going to be, they're on the clock. Absolutely, no doubt. The front office is on the clock. James Dolan, he hired Gersa and Rosas, I believe, to oversee this thing. I think to see this thing through, because there's always that situation like what happened with Phil. Dolan's not around. Like he's got blind faith. He's paying dudes huge sums of money to sit back, and I don't think he wants to be taken for the fool. You know what I mean? So he's putting dudes on notice. Let's see what happens. And Tarek says cutting Randall's minutes by 10 minutes is enough. Let's let Randall and RJ work it out to be a two-headed monster for next year. Yeah, I agree with the 10 minutes, Tarek as well. 10 minutes is fine. And tonight was a glimmer of what's to come, possibly with the Jericho Sims situation. We know Taj and Nerlens Noel look like they're done for the season, right? They look like they can ready to hang the sneakers up in terms of this season, unless an injury, foul trouble, things like that. And thank goodness, right? The ridicule that he got for Taj Gibson playing 30 minutes, 25 minutes, and things like that. We're out of the race, 10 games under right now. Um, Tonight's standings, we're still in the 12th spot. We're 5 games up on Indy in the 13th spot, but we're 2 games below Washington in the 11th spot now, and we're 3 games behind Atlanta for the 10th spot as well. So crazy things have happened, but the schedule is crazy right now, and I don't see it happening. And Drew says it. G Montero, the sauciest out of all the point guards in this class, but I haven't watched much film on him. Yeah, me too, Drew. I'm diving deep soon. I'm really looking forward to diving deeper into this draft class because, like I said, there are some hidden gems. There are some hidden gems out here, and let's not totally listen to just what you hear all the time. There are dudes that don't do their research on the draft class. They'll pass on false knowledge, and things like that. Yeah, that the draft class isn't as deep in terms of superstars, stars, things like that. But that doesn't mean you're not going to find great players, good players. It's deeper than you think, right? And I think dudes are starting. March Madness hasn't even started. Dude's stock goes up during March Madness, no doubt. And I think come draft night, we're going to be talking about dudes in the ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th spot that are going to be solid players out there. But yeah, like Kevin says, salute. The Knicks need the point guard. There's a few point guards out there, headed by Jaden Ivey. Tai Tai, is another strong prospect. Gene Montero is the other one. Let's see what happens. A lot of teams are covered at point guard. So maybe some of these point guards might fall as well. Let's hope. And Tarek, you fire Tibbs. You tell the whole NBA that we are a laughing stock, Banana Republic clown. Yeah, stability is important, no doubt. Tarek, stability is important, but functionality is important too. They've got to be on the right page. They've got to talk to each other and say, this is what we're doing. We're accepting this new timeline because I don't personally think that RJ next season, Julius and some other dude is going to be enough. Um, I think the inconsistencies of Randall and things like that. We need to reset this thing back a little bit. I'm not saying totally blow it up, but we need to acknowledge that it's going to be a few more years before we're ready. And maybe their plan is, no doubt they've got plans. They don't always come to fruition, but the plans could be to oversee the situation with Spider. It could be the situation with out there in New Orleans. It could be a situation with DeAndre Ayton with Phoenix. Maybe there's channels there. Um, Tell me who DeAndre Ayton's agency is. That's fascinating to know because I don't know if he's going to be paid the bag with Phoenix. So that bears watching. And 007, you're 100% right, CT. The summer and the free agent, the front office is going to feel Dolan's microscope. Absolutely right. And you could argue Dolan's to blame too, right? They weren't quite qualified. You're given a first-time president a big job by giving them the New York Knicks. Now, being an agent, a king of the agent world, is a whole different fish, right? But trying to run the franchise is different, right? Now he's fully understanding the speculation and the spotlight, what that brings, right? Memes all over social media, Leon Rose sleeping, criticism, threats, vitriol, all of those things coming their way, right? Things are only going to get amplified if they continue to lay an egg. And Jay says, if you can get 2 seconds for Randall Kemba, then you do it. Getting them off of the books and then off of the team is a win. Nobody is playing for a chip if Randall is a starter. Nobody. I think third option if you have a bona fide superstar, Jay. Like let's say Giannis Antetokounmpo was your number one option. I think Julius being a second option could be enough to win a chip. But in most likeliness, like you're saying, the Knicks are ways off. We can't even see what star is going to be the next dude yet. So let's just see, let the front office play it out and see what they can pull out of the bag right now because their back's against the wall, right? They're stealing money again. They were brought in here, kings of the agent world. Their strength was connections. You know, World Wide West, been around the game more longer than players have been alive. Uh, Tibbs again. Leon, Kings of the Agent world. Where does that get us so far? It's getting us CAA dudes. What else? We overpaid Nerlens. That was a bad contract. We overpaid Fournier. That was a bad contract. D Rose was always a risky proposition with his injury history. Kemba Walker, that was a low risk move, but it hasn't paid out. We put all our chips in that basket. We put all our eggs in that basket. With two older plus 30-point guards, right? And it's come back to bite us right now. So look out for the Jalen Brunson talk. You know, 007. Yeah, we also have a real good scout in Europe that could find some good overseas talent. Yeah, Kevin Wilson. We have a full-time scout in Europe now, ladies and gents. And also, the situation with Rokas, Jokibitis. Shout out to him. The draft and stash from the Knicks. Rokas won the title in Spain as well, coming off the bench slash filling in starting spot minutes. Salute to him. Great season out there. Drafted with the 34th selection just before Deuce McBride. He's going to come over for Summer League, I think. I think Rokas will come for Summer League, test the waters a bit. The buyout situation's tricky, as you know. What I've been told is a team can only pay a certain percentage, $700,000 of a buyout. I think his buyout is a couple of million. So basically, it's up to the player if they want to spend money from their own pocket to pay the rest of the buyout. And does that contract that they're getting from the Knicks in the future supplement losing that money? So that's going to be really interesting to see. He looks pretty happy right now in Europe, and maybe he sits there, does a bit more seasoning, for another year or two. I would not be mad at that. Continue to get some burn. And salute. Tibbs rotations and lack of making adjustments is an issue, but it's also roster acquisition as well. Yeah, it's almost like the blind leading the blind. I've been saying because the front office gave, like the chat said, on point. They've given him players that don't fit him, and he's just trying to make the best out of parts that don't fit either. Right? So it's crazy. But his handling of the rotations could be better. Um, you know, playing guys to a fault, playing guys heavy minutes. He's been pushing for the play in the playoffs, like we know, but it just it hasn't worked out. Maybe we just need a reset. And Tarek, I see in Randall his contract, and we stuck with him, like it or not. So work it out. So keeping it real, keeping it 100. Tarek, Randall's here possibly for the long haul. His family, CAA connection. If they don't get a deal they like, I could certainly see them keeping Randall for another year, even. Right? Why sell low on pennies on a dollar? We did have a dude that was an asset last season. Unfortunately, it's not as high as it once was. We probably should have sold high. Um, let's see him work with RJ for the next 22 games, and see if we can see some improvement in their cohesion right now, because the defense has been the main problem this season. Right, I'm not even going to start talking about the offense. The defense has been horrible this season. Can Julius put forth the effort needed to be back to that club like last season? And can we get some wing help for RJ Barrett? Because the wing help has been severely lacking, and I would put a lot of pressure on RJ this season. Manchild, draft the best player available and then bring up Rokas. So that's the strategy for Manchild, and I don't hate it. Draft the best player. We need talent up in here, thick and fast, Manchild, right? It's supposedly a deeper draft. Let's see how high we could get up in this piece. Um, I've got the tankathon here. I'm going to pull up where we currently sit in the ninth selection, ladies and gents. We're currently slated to pick ninth. Ty Washington. Tankathon has him slipping to 9. We've got dudes like Keegan Murray in 8th who are rising up the stock. Like I said, March Madness is just starting, and that's going to play in our favor, ladies and gents, because GM scouts, they all get tempted. We all know there's a bolter. As the draft comes closer and the March Madness sinks in, teams, execs get enamored with players, right? And I think it's a fairly deep, draft class. I'm not going to lie. And Bonson, how does Julius have enough juice with Tibbs to stop him from being subbed out? The other players can't respect that. Yeah, that was There was a bad look, bad optics. Um, Again, just a situation where Julius has a bit more, too much leash for this situation, right? Too buddy buddy. The friendship, the relationship he has with Tom Thibodeau and other front office execs. We know there's some bias. What's up, Mikey D? Salute. B. Willis. Scott Perry is the only one in the front office with executive experience, like you said, except Rosas and Wald Perrin. Yeah, we need more of those smart minds. And you hit the nail, B. Willis, because that's why I feel like James Dolan heard from somebody, whether he made the decision himself or he heard from a confidant, maybe as his longtime friend Isaiah Thomas, somebody. They saw the bungling that this front office was, not able to make some moves, not able to handle the trade situations, great, with two dudes that are used to being agents, right? And we know a lot of front office executives don't look fondly on agents, right? There was probably a time when World Wide West and Leon Rose screwed them over, right? And now they're the ones dealing with them on a daily basis with poor Scott Perry, left to answer the phones as well. So this front office needs extra help. It's sad because I had a lot of confidence in the first season with Leon and that. Now it's starting to show that just how much you need, right? What these qualified executives really bring to these roles. They need to bring their experience to succeed, right? And look what Kobe Altman's doing with Cleveland. Look what Sam Presti's doing with OKC. Yeah, those guys are killing it right now. Masai Ujiri, um, Memphis's situation. Salute to Memphis, their front office doing things the right way. Yeah, we're behind the eight ball. Heck says, we need to stop praying and hoping a star comes. We have to build through the draft and hope that the ping pong balls fall the right way for us. And Lady Luck smiles on us. And I feel the same way, Heck. And also, it's only a matter of time before we get some luck, right? Some luck has to happen in the draft, the lottery, something, right? Something has to shake right. I must admit, when Obi Toppin fell to 9 or 8, whatever number it was, I was quite pleased. And I felt we got a really good talent at that pick. And then of course Julia's situation happened, and the rest is history. But we need another draft like that, where a top college player can fall to the 9th, 10th, 11th spot, and hopefully be in the right situation for us. Um, the wing spot, the point guard spot has to be a priority. Um, I don't think they're going to select a center that high. So let's see. And 007 Angelo Julius would also look good in the Utah uniform. Spider would look even better in the Knicks uniform. Potential future trade if Spider isn't happy, and he's not happy in Utah right now, right? Let's just keep our eye on that situation, guys, ladies and gents, because the Utah Jazz, are going to go deep into the playoffs, but we all know frustrations are going to creep in when they flame out, if they flame out. So it's a crowded West, man. We got the Golden State Warriors still lighting it up. You know, Kawhi Leonard might come back, and the Clippers might make some moves. We got Phoenix looking the goods out there. Um, yeah, I don't think Utah's in a very good situation right now. The versatility, losing Joe Ingles, um, maybe they've capped out. And that situation's not going to be great for Spider over there, but great for us possibly with his father working for the Mets. He's from the area. The Knicks blew that pick, like we all know, and history could hopefully show that a disgruntled star like Simmons, etc., Harden, maybe he's the next guy to force his way out. And Jay says, Tarek, if you can't move with him, then you move Randall to the six man. ISO ball without consistency and no D comes off the bench. JR was a bench center for the Lakers. And B Willis, all we need is XS and X's and O's. Coach Kenny Atkinson, Mark Jackson, or Sam Cassell. So X's and O's coach Kenny Atkinson, Mark Jackson, or Cassell. What do you guys think of those names? It's going to be interesting to see, can Leon Rose make that tough call if he needs to, make that decision at the end of the year and move on from Tibbs? Will it be a Dolan situation stepping in, or will it be, Leon stepping up to the plate and just making that call? Randall is no six man on this squad. LOL from Tarek as well. Yeah, a lot of support from our guys. These guys are going to go through their lumps. It's about fit for me. It's about where we sit long term in terms of how far off we are and our plan to build. We're paying these executives, and a lot of them are good at what they do, like Brock Aller, Walt Perrin, you know, um, deputy GMs, Scott Perry. They've been around this thing for a minute, right? They need to have a plan. We don't know what it is, but they need to stick to it and carry that out right now. And Leon Rose needs to step up and clear some of this mess that he's created with this. And 007, would I trade this year's first and a future first for the first or second pick this year to get Ivy? Would I trade this year's first and a future first? I think it's going to take a lot more to get up that high, 007. But yeah, absolutely, I would. Jaden Ivey is legit. He's going to be legit in this league, right? He's got all the tools to thrive in New York, and he's built for New York. And if we could get that high in the top four, um, that's a steal. That's a steal for us. And there's some other names: Chet Holmgren, the center out there, Jabari Smith, Paolo Banchero, and so far the mystery prospect Shaden Sharp with Kentucky as well. If he enters the draft, which there's a great possibility that just pushes another great prospect further down the pecking order for us to select, as well as possibly even get Shaden Sharp as well with that Kentucky intel. So things are going to get really interesting. Got heaps of draft coverage still coming as well. So check out the other shows I put out last week if you haven't yet. But as March Madness about to commence, I'm going to have a lot of fun. Going to have just as much fun watching college as I am, the rest of the regular season. And Canal says Randall is perfect for New Orleans and Zion perfect for New York. Just make that happen. That's another situation, Canal, and everyone that's going to be a huge topic on everyone's mouth. The situation. We know Zion got some heat for not being an engaged teammate with CJ McCollum. Zion is being disengaged from the beginning. He's not showing that he's overly motivated to suit up. That's going to be interesting, right? We know he had a grin on his face. He liked that tweet. He still got the likes on his tweet, the Instagram and Twitter when when Cam was announced to the Knicks. Yeah, that was interesting. Mike, do you guys remember the first bit of controversy this front office and Tibbs had as well? And Manchol says Ivy's weakness is the shooting. Yeah, he needs to he needs to improve that. But yeah, his strength is certainly transition and getting to the cup. But like, yeah, him and RJ would be deadly together, absolutely. And a Tarek, zero hot takes from me, just real ball. So yeah, you guys give us your thoughts. That's what this show's for. The chat show. We shout you out. We keep it 100. Healthy Knicks talk. Just agreeing to disagree or agreeing. But the Knicks, I'm patient. Been a fan for 30 years, and a lot of you have. Um, we've witnessed some losing ball for long enough. It's frustrating. I thought we were, after last season, we were ready to take that next step. This season, it hasn't happened, but that doesn't mean we need to poo the bed and make this situation any worse than it needs to be. Just be patient. Like Hex says, everyone's saying build through the draft, identify that next guy that can grow with RJ. Julius is still pretty young, but don't sell low. Let's see how they work together, for the rest of this season. But I'm certainly not against trading trading Randall. Sorry, trading a Randall for for the right deal as well. If we can get us back some young pieces or draft picks. And look out for the Portland situation, ladies and gents. The Portland Trailblazers potentially have two top 10 picks as well. So slated in the 7th spot and in the 10th spot right now. They want to keep Dame happy. They could trade one of them for Jeremy Grant. They could trade us the other one for Julius Randle. And then bam, you've got Jeremy Grant, Julius Randle next to Dame Lillard as well. So that could keep him happy. So let's look out for Portland and their situation because they have 2 picks in the top 10. Tarek, yeah, an elite. Tarek says, yeah, an elite, obese, injury-prone Zion trade is unwise after Kemba. And remind us again, what's the definition of insanity? Look, yeah, we've faced enough injury riddled players. With the Zion thing, the thing that scares me the most, guys, is the contract. You're gonna have to pay him the max, soon. So that's difficult, right? Unless the Knicks have some intel that Zion's injury isn't as bad as it may seem. The CAA connection. Then I'm happy for the Knicks to look into that. Definitely, superstar talent doesn't grow on trees, but let's just be smart about it. Joseph, if Randall is part of the future, Mitch out of the plan, the entire basketball world knows a stretch five with Julius works beautifully, and that's facts too. I can agree, Joseph as well. Um, for Mitch, yeah, like his game may not be as suited for a half court team like us. Charlotte's interested, Chicago's interested, uh, Detroit's interested, getting up and down with Cade. Look, there's going to be so many teams salivating trying to get Mitch a player that can get up and down. We need a player, like you say, to stretch the floor. Absolutely. We need a big man that can score as well. Um, I've said this on record too. I think the contract Mitch is going to earn is deserved. It's a fair number from what numbers he's putting up. But is he the right fit for this club? Can he stay healthy? Can he be that dude for us? I just don't know about paying that. I'm worried, to be honest, and I'm okay with seeing what Sims has got. And let's just ride it out. Let's just see what offers. Maybe we could get a sign and trade and get a nice piece back. And just, I guess, good for both parties. Mitch gets his bag, gets to be with another club, and we get something in return. And I salute Juju 92. Salute, fam. Hope you're well. Star J Barrett's performance tonight going to get a lot of attention. It was beautiful to watch. A future piece for this club. Show out like that. 46 piece. I was willing him on for 50 tonight, but hey, it was as good as a 50 piece. We all know those free throws would have got him there as well. And I like the way Randall, handled the situation tonight when his game didn't have it going. And E. Gibson, the front office brought in Atkinson a couple times before settling on Tibbs. Yeah, they did. They did that full thorough search as well. So it's going to be interesting. B. Willis, we don't know where we pick at yet. Yet fingers crossed. Yeah, absolutely we do. We don't. I think the losses are going to pile up, and just bringing up the tankathon. Yeah, the teams just behind us are Portland. Um, Memphis have Lakers selection right now. Washington Wizards in 12th. Atlanta in 13th. If we push any further, we might find ourselves out of the top 10. Let's say if Tom Thibodeau has his way and continues to push for dubs, and Atlanta and Washington lose a couple, we could easily go from 9th selection to the 12th, 13th selection as well, and that's going to be detrimental. So yeah, let's see. Let's see. That's the squad we're playing out there now. It's giving us an opportunity to lose games, and the schedule's tough enough. So I don't think we need to do anything specific to lose more games. I think it's just going to happen organically, and be civilized. Yet Tibbs's hire was nothing but a friendship call more than anything. Yeah, they did their due diligence, but at the end of the day, that we knew who they really really wanted. Like B says, Tom Thibodeau was a coach in waiting. Yeah, essentially, he knows the situation in New York. He got comfortable after the first season, and the front office hasn't done himself. It doesn't haven't done him any favors, right? With the Kemba and the Fournier thing. Um, Looking back, my expectations were a little bit too high. I didn't. I underestimated the fact that the defense would be much worse. I don't know what you guys your expectations and all of yours, but I did think the offense would counteract a bit of that. Um, Obviously, Kemba Walker situation, he's nowhere near the player he used to be. He can't handle the minutes. The poor guy, his health, rest up, Kemba, and hopefully he can find a situation somewhere in the league. And salute Julian, salute, welcome, hope you're well. He says if we keep Randall, I think Chet would fit perfectly next to him as well. Yeah, Chet Holmgren, slated top 3 pick right now out of Gonzaga. That's going to be interesting. If you think he's a center, he's 7 feet, but he's incredibly light, 195 pounds, 7 feet, killing it right now. Let's see if he lights up March Madness, right? He could be the number 1 pick. Absolutely. And Mike says the front office wanted the young core. Tibbs wanted seasoned vets. He even told the front office to trade RJ and Mitch. He mocked Brock Aller for saying youth was the way to go. Um, yeah, I knew about the Brock Aller sort of clashing there, but I didn't know he told the front office to trade RJ and Mitch as well. So that's interesting. I haven't heard that anywhere. But yeah, that's my one concern, that the front office and the Tibbs isn't on the same page, right? And they may just need to cut bait with Tibbs to get with a younger minded coach like a Kenny Payne, Johnny Bryant, sorry, Johnny Bryant or something like that. Let's see, right? There's some dudes hired to be with Tibbs, and there's dudes hired not by Tibbs. Kenny Payne, Worldwide West brought him in. Worldwide West brought Johnny Bryant in, right? So there's some dudes ready to take over, which has got a lot of dudes, walking on eggshells, right? And that's a good comp. Yeah, Chet reminds us of Camby. Um, I look forward to watching more of Chet. Like I said in the March Madness, it's going to be fun. And Tarek, yep, when I say zero hot takes, I'm only speaking of I. Mike Tibbs wanted Marcus Morris, Rose, and other vets. If he had his wish, and it's backfired, he has to go. Like I said, age is factoring into a lot of this, man. Ladies and gents, Tom Thibodeau, 64. He's been to the top. He's been in Eastern Conference Finals. He hates missing out on the playoffs, and he lives for the playoffs, competing every single night. And he hates the whole rebuild thing. And for a guy his age and what he's done, I understand that, and that's the main reason he's probably got to go. He's got to be out of here. And 007, yeah, except Mitch doesn't weigh 500 pounds. Zion needs Weight Watchers. Um, yeah, he's going to get a lot of Subway deals and things like that when he comes down, if he comes down. And Julian has Ivy number one, but Chet's skill set really intriguing. That it is. It's crazy, these prospects coming through, like Evan Mobley lighting things up. Mansa Deshawn, salute. Tibbs must go. Right. The days are numbered, possibly for Tibbs, Tom Thibodeau, with 22 games left. Right. We're seeing a small pivot tonight. Like we touched on, it took me by surprise, the Jericho Sims and the Taj Gibson situation. That really took me by surprise. Could we see more and more? Cam Reddish got in the game. I was happy to see, but that was only at the expense of Grimes unfortunately going down, it seems. Let's hope, prayers up. But a silver lining is that Cam Reddish gets some burn, right? He hit two corner threes tonight. I was happy to see that, stretch the floor. He got that defensive steal when he turned the ball over. He's going to be a little bit rusty, so I'm tempering my expectations. I know you guys, we all want to see Cam get some burn. It's 22 games left. I don't expect him to come in and light it up right now. The Cam things for the future. Let's see. He's got one more year on the rookie deal to play alongside RJ next season. Maybe we flip him at the deadline next season. Who knows? Right now, all I know is we got an asset. We got an asset in Cam Reddish under our own watch, and let's capitalize. Let's make the most of this asset management, which is what Brock Aller is all about. Brock Aller is the dude he's chief of strategist, chief strategy, and Walt Perrin is the chief of the draft. So let these basketball minds do their thing, right? We see what happens when the Sam Presties, the Kobe Altmans and things get their way, right? It's about time the New York Knicks hand things over to basketball minds, and not like terms of agents and basketball lifers like Tibbs in terms of coaching as well, right? Um, there's a reason dudes are executives, and there's a reason dudes are good at coaching, right? Just let the executives do their thing, and the coaching has just got to live with that, right, and make the most out of it, right? You give a chef fresh, organic, clean ingredients, they're going to make you the best food, right? You know, we got to get these dudes the right fits first, and then see what they can do, right? Not bring in dudes that aren't the right fit. And Juju, can you stand another 5 or 6 years of Randall? Because I can't. His movement on the floor is just so hard to watch. Look, when Julius is engaged, when he's fighting tooth and nail and he's going hard at it like he did last season, that's the Julius I can stand. But the Julius that's lazy on the court, um, slow getting back on D, leaving dudes wide open for a shot, things like that really hurt me. It's frustrating. He doesn't rotate and help D's awful. Um, I think he's upset with the situation. Not bringing back his boys with Reggie, with Elf. I think RJ, he likes RJ, I think, but he's not ready to turn the keys over. Um, it's going to be interesting, man. Just too many cooks in the kitchen, too many dudes not on the same page, right? And I think that's what James Dolan, right? Again, for whatever you say about him, he gets an inkling when dudes are taking people for a ride. William Wesley is the insider. He's got his ear as well. Dude's starting to place the blame already. Um, we're going to see a shake-up, I feel. Like 23 games left. We're probably going to finish 11th, 12th, get into that top 10 spot selection, and it's going to be a huge summer coming up. But let's make the most out of these 22 games, right? Give RJ the keys, let him handle the rock, let him like put up like he did tonight, feature him. The best thing about tonight, as well as RJ's performance, was the fact that he was featured, right? Legit featured tonight, right? They were setting screens for him. They were just holding it up, waiting for him to catch, dribble, handoff, and he was using and abusing. And how long can we have we said that about a New York Knicks young prospect, right? Just a dude in his bag, getting whatever he wants, right? There was no one that could stop RJ, right? And bear in mind he's only 21 years old still, right? Getting stronger, um, handling his own with Jimmy Butler. I think a couple of those foul calls on him on Jimmy were soft as well. He's a tough player, but it was a great test for RJ tonight, and he lived up to it, right? And I think ever since, like I said, the shift changed. Ever since he hit that game winner against Boston, right? Ever since he hit that, I think RJ Barrett grew up and became a man on that night. Um, Joseph, yeah, for those afraid of trading for Zion, 2 words: Joel Embiid. Research his career. It's amazing. Imagine if Philly gave up on Embiid. We got to take some risks, and Zion is worth it. I hear your point, Joseph. Yeah, great point. Who knows? Right? It's a roll of the dice. It's a crapshoot. Zion is a talent you were worth gambling on. That's a fact. Um, it's going to be up to the medicals. It's going to be up to I guess, the trade. What it takes to get him in here. It's going to be a lot of factors right now. But I can see a point about Zion's talent. Banking on that. But you got to look at the track record too, right? Is how much of what's going on in New Orleans is how much of that is a product of Zion being disengaged versus how much of it is Zion just struggling with the situation with the team, with conditioning and all of that. So that's interesting. We know foot injuries are, like you spotted on, is a factor in this whole thing. And Julian, I'm not worried about Zion's weight at all. I'm super worried about his injury history, though. It's tough. He's a talent. He's generational, but we have information edge, though, with Zion being with CAA, yeah, and Antonio Brown from yeah, Austin Brown, so to speak. Sorry, Austin Brown, the one of the heads of CAA, is Zion's agent, right? And Leon Rose used to be the man's boss. Get that? Let that sink in. In the words of Ron Cleveland, right? So we got Zion's current agent used to directly report to Leon Rose. So if the New York Knicks don't have that insight over anyone else, then my name's not CT. You know, so the New York Knicks do have the information they need to make the decision. Um, Austin Brown's probably going to already been able to tell Leon right now through the back channel tampering that or well Wild West that that he wants to come. You know what I mean? And I think that's going to be critical. It's going to be critical to making that decision, ladies and gents. So with that said, I think the Knicks are going to do all their intel. They're going to do their insight and their conversations. They're going to talk to New Orleans. They're going to talk to Zion over the summer and see. But yeah, I think his days are numbered. I'm not going to lie. I think Zion's days are numbered out in New Orleans. That's a fact. And he says Dolan would like Zion in New York, win or lose, brings hype, intrigue, excitement. And Dolan seems most interested in ticket sales as well. Um, yeah, look, it's box office. It would be box office. It'd be another reach for the stars like the Carmelo deal. Um, but Zion's very, very, very young still. He's RJ Barrett's timeline. That's a plus. His superstar talent plus. Just got to get the health right. And also, what pieces are you building around him? Because we know Zion can't shoot at this point. Zion's strength is getting to the cup, which is RJ's strength. And we need dudes that can stretch the floor to suit RJ's game. Like tonight, RJ was getting into the paint at will. Imagine if we had 2, 3 sharpshooters surrounding RJ's game, right? Like the Milwaukee Bucks, like Miami sharpshooters as well. That's dangerous, and that's what the New York Knicks need to aim for. And I think if RJ was on the Miami Heat, it'd be a wrap. They'd be winning the chip. And Jay says, yeah, when afraid of trading for Zion, think Embiid. It's more like Kawhi's knees, which weren't an issue before the NBA. And I salute Blood of the Panda. Hope you're well. Salute. Appreciate you. Just wanted to say salute. Hey, appreciate it. Give us your thoughts. We shout you out. Keep it 100. Healthy Knicks talk. You're watching Knicks Buzz. Give that like button a shove, and I will continue to rock out tonight. Friday night, the feeling's right. Our franchise cornerstone put up a career high, almost 50 piece. It's a long time coming. I just love the way it played out. More so the way the game went, rather than just the 46 points and rather than the career high. Um, they featured him. It came up against Jimmy Butler. It came up against a Miami Heat defense. All you got to factor in all these things, right? And RJ Barrett took over tonight. He took over the game. The crowd was serenading him. Clyde entered the Hall of Fame for a broadcaster as well. Lost aside, it was a good night. It was a good night in the Garden. Salute Tarek, appreciate you. Everyone in the chat as well. Keep it rolling. Yeah, he actually reminds me of Gargamel from the Smurfs, how he looks and his attitude. And Juju Zion probably fiending for a burger right now. Oh man, look, it's tough, being that age. You want to indulge. You got money for days. You got the bag. You got stardom. Um, you just want to eat a burger, right? You want to eat what you want to eat. You want to drink what you want to drink. It's about control. It's about advice. Has Zion got the right people around him? Is he got the right team? Um, and hunger. Probably above all else, does the man really, really want it? Because, like I said, he's got the bag. He's set up for generational wealth. Um, he could never play basketball again and be good, right? How much of him within does he want to be a star? And maybe being in New York with the spotlight, with RJ, with Cam, and us fans holding him accountable rather than New Orleans. Maybe that is the right situation, for Zion. But the super max is scary to think about right now. Like Tarek says, yeah, Zion better be healthy and in shape before the Knicks ever consider dropping the bag. Players and picks or more is unwise, to put it politely. Yeah, absolutely. And I think one hand on my heart way I can be confident with this front office is that they're fiscal with money, in terms of that situation with delving out the bag. Kemba Walker was a low risk move that wasn't really given out the bag. Julius, they gave a very valued contract out for. Nerlens was a bad contract, but the value, the years was bad. The value wasn't bad. With Zion, I feel like Leon Rose would be more, be more fiscal with that situation, and like you say, checking whether his health is the right, in the right place where it needs to be. But yeah, a Duke big one. Yeah, facts. Um, yeah, and RJ was going for over 50 if he didn't miss those free throws. Yeah, absolutely. 50 would have looked real nice, especially on the highlights, but it's going to come. Like I said, I would not be surprised if there's another 35, 40, 50 piece in this season that we feature RJ like tonight. He ate against the Miami Heat. Imagine what's going to happen against Sacramento. Who else we got? Who else we got left on the board? We got the ATL. We got the Orlando Magic. So Detroit Pistons as well. So yeah, keep a lookout. RJ's growing in confidence, and I salute Eric. Jaden Ivey, that's the play. Let's hope we can get into the top four, right? That would make this season a real success, if you ask me. Not making the play-in or playoffs or anything. We're not winning the chip, we know, but RJ's growth, development, some other dudes, Quentin Grimes look promising for the future. Jericho Sims does look like a piece. Despite tonight, he looks like a piece. And I think we're heading in the right direction. We get a stud talent out of this draft, and we could set ourselves up. We can really set ourselves on the right path. And yeah, like Manchild says, it doesn't help that New Orleans is the home of soul food. Straight facts. Um, However, the New York scene, the food scene, the pizza, all of that, the restaurants, that's going to be tough for Zion as well. But there's probably going to be a heap of commercials for Subway. Uh, um, but no, in all honesty, right, we all know what a player is going to feel like when they're playing with their bros. And Zion playing with RJ, playing with Cam, that's just going to get him straight, right? He does not care for CJ McCollum. Let's keep it 100. He does not care for Brandon Ingram. I think he cared for Josh Hart. I think he cared for Lonzo Ball. They shipped them up out of there. So Zion, he wants to play with some dudes who he can get down with. And the Dookie three could be already, back channels, whatnot. That could be on the cards. Maybe with a Donovan Mitchell to top it all off, and Juju 92. It's so crazy to think that if we get JB Brunson, he could probably be the best point guard we had in the past 15, 20 years. Yeah, yeah, that is sad, man. It's been way too long. I will say on the Jalen Brunson front, he is a young enough player that's got upside still, and that's where we haven't been in so long. We usually sign an over the hill player, you know, like when we brought in Jason Kidd as a point guard. He was over the hill. We traded for the Chauncey Billups. It was a few years too late. He had to retire. Um, Ray Felton started to get out of shape. Right, we just never get that dude that's like 25, 26 with 6, 7, 8 years still ahead of their prime. Right, that's what we need. We need consistency. Right, I'm sick of chopping and changing lineups every year. Right, this instability, this club, above all else, the instability has been the worst thing. Right, signing dudes to 1 year deals and then flipping them, and Marcus Morris for 1 year and then flipping him, Bobby Portis losing him after 1 year. Like, I'm glad we lost those players, but I'm talking about the structure of the roster acquisitions and things like that. Um, we need consistency here. We need to draft these players and keep building with them, with high upside ahead of them. Yeah, Jalen Brunson. Look, the money is going to be interesting to see what he gets. Um, I'm glad I'm not the one making that decision because I love Jalen on the team. He can help. I just don't know if it's the right play to pay that money. I haven't watched Dallas a whole lot. What do you guys think on the Jalen Brunson front? Because yeah, it's going to be tough. Another family tie situation. Maybe Leon Rosen that just can't help himself and gives the bag to his godson. Let's keep it 100. I think it's his godson. And Canal says, yeah, Dolan will push for a big trade this offseason because Knicks TV viewership gone straight down the gurgler. We rank 15th. Yeah, I saw that too, Canal, today. Thanks for bringing that up. Um, that's crazy. I think we've had a lot of national televised games. Maybe I don't know if that's factored in. Do you guys think that could have factored in the fact that we have a lot of national TV games this season? But yeah, you're right. The product has been nowhere near last season. The Julius Randle saga, telling us where all to go, things like that. The Kemba Walker thing flaming out after like 10 games. Or was it like Kemba Walker became straight out of the rotation after like the 15 games? That was crazy. And Tarek Zion was cited in the Chinese buffet. Now that's growth. Oh man, the Zion memes for days, right? And how ironic is that he's a jump man, a Jordan ambassador, right? He's not going to be jumping over a credit card soon. You know, we all know what your body does when you get older, right? Every single year, you get older, your body's just not the same, right? And I've seen clips today of him jumping over dudes in college and all of that. Like they just seem like days of yesteryear because I don't know a man that's 300 something pounds that can be doing that, right, without his knees blowing out, right? It's going to be it's going to be interesting whether he can really shed that much weight because it's not just a little bit of weight for him to stay healthy long term. I think Zion's got to cut. I mean, you guys throw the figures out there. How much does Zion need to cut in terms of weight for you to be confident that his health's going to be right? I think he needs to probably cut at least 50 pounds if I'm keeping it a buck. And I haven't not even seen him lately, right? Who's even seen where he's at, right now? And 007, yeah, didn't they also fire the coach Zion liked? Yeah, Gentry, I think that wasn't it? Alvin Gentry. And that's just the thing, right? It's a players' league. Some of them have got real fragile minds and expectations as well. Right? It's a business. You can't always play with your buddies. You can't always play with the coach you love. It's a job at the end of the day. We've had jobs where we don't like the boss. Just be a professional, get on with it. Um, but yeah, the situation, it's exactly like Ben Simmons, right? He's going to force his way out. He's not happy there. Um, all the best to him. Let's see. Let's see what happens. We know New York Knicks have swung for the fences so many times. You know, Antonio McDyess, Amari Stoudemire, Stephon Marbury, Steve Francis, um, Penny Hardaway, Tracy McGrady. The list goes on. We've swung the fences for players that are challenged in age or in health, and it just hasn't worked out for us, right? Um, Yeah, Juju. Everyone wants to retire at the Garden. I remember Steve Francis McGrady days. Yeah, facts. Um, Brunson wants over 20 mil a year, and that's a no-no. Yeah, that's the toughest decision about it, man, child. Like, are we even in a position where it's sustainable? Like, is Jalen Brunson going to get us to that point? Because if you add that salary to Julius's salary, and then you got to pay RJ in one more year, you got to pay RJ Barrett the max soon. Don't forget, you're gonna have to pay Cam Reddish the max, maybe as well. And I'm more on the train like B Willis. Right, if you're gonna swing for the fence, swing for a home run with a DeAndre Ayton, right, a bona fide dude that's been there, done it, still upside, um, a force in the league coming up, um, highly drafted, and that situation's going to be very interesting as well. So Aiton has the game. He can stretch the floor a bit. Um, that's the kind of player you need to really monitor as well. Maybe he wants to be a king in New York. Joseph says Zion's rehabbing in Portland and the location of Nike training and sports science facility. Nike will never let their $75 million investment go to waste post LeBron. Nike is bigger than the NBA. Watch. Well, they spitting facts, Joseph. Let's see. Like I said, it comes down to Zion. It comes down to him, whether he's mentally in that situation where he wants to, be the best he can be. But you bring up some good points, on Nike, LeBron. LeBron's aged a lot this season. Father time's undefeated, right? For a minute, I thought we'd never see LeBron come back down to earth, but yeah, he's come back down and with a huge thud. And LeBron's got 1, 2, 3 more years max in the league. We know he wants to play with his son in 2023. But after that, yeah, who's going to be that next dude for Nike? There's Zion. He's got a lot ahead of him. It'd be unfulfilled potential for real. And look, the dude's never wanted to go to New Orleans. Like I can understand that situation. We all saw when he was drafted, the look of disappointment on his face. And it's fair to say that he's riding out the rookie deal. He probably had a pact with other players, with Barrett, things like that. The days to get out of there. And E says, yeah, Aiton is the kind of like a throwback center. He needs a point guard to set him up to be effective. Yeah, he's great in the pick and roll. CP3 definitely helped him make him look like a monster. You could credit his max deal that he might get to CP3. But yeah, Aiton's the kind of talent you still bet on. He's young. He's got the game. Um, I would be feel much more comfortable with him than a Miles Turner or paying Mitch, certainly as well. And that's what this Knicks front office needs to really earn their money. Yeah, we talked about it for days, but Worldwide West, Brock Aller, Leon, Gerson, all these dudes, right? What are they getting paid for? They need to know the landscape of the league. They need to be talking to agents, putting in overtime, putting in work, right? Those guys need to be putting in 60, 70-hour weeks right now, right, to fix this thing, right? Because this thing's not going to fix itself right now. This is a huge summer for the Knicks. And if they fire Tibbs, rest assured that he's the scapegoat, then the clock is going to start ticking on them, right? So does that make them feel like, oh, maybe we shouldn't fire Tibbs because then all the heats are now on us, right? We're next, right? Whereas if they keep Tibbs around, they could keep blaming him, you know, to to save their own skin. And Tarek, the Knicks front office need to be patient. They need to build through the draft, rid some vets, yeah, and we can stop with the haymakers by tuning out the irrational fans and let them do their job. Yeah, it's hard, right, with the Knicks fans where we hold everyone accountable, like more like any other front office. And I think last season we were a bit of a victim of our success. Well, they were, in terms of achieving the fourth seed so soon. No one ever thought we were even that close, right? I didn't, given Julius's season after not 2019 and the egg that Julius laid, I didn't think we'd be able to get close to the fourth seed, and I think that's hurt the front office in terms of expectations now, because this front office, was expected to do big things this season, coming off the fourth seed, and they haven't been able to even get close, right? How many teams have passed us? It's been crazy. We see Washington retooled with that trade with Lakers. Even see that the Hawks have a horrible season and they're still ahead of us. Charlotte Hornets have come up. Brooklyn's now got improved with that trade. The Celtics still around in sixth spot. The Cavs jumped everybody in fifth spot. Chicago Bulls, I was ridiculing some of their moves. Um, I've eaten crow, in the second seed, the Chicago Bulls. And I didn't even think I did not think Miami would come up this quick, right? So it's been crazy. And B. Willis, says Tibbs ain't the problem. Let me find that one. Tibbs is not a rotation coach. I need a new look as well. And Tarek, remember when some fans were saying trade RJ? That's the irrational fans. Yeah, the microwave kind of fans. And appreciate you guys, taking care of the spammer. But yeah, supposedly Zion's weighing around 334. Chances are he would have to lose 60 pounds to stay as healthy. Yeah, absolutely. That's crazy. Um, and also the pressure, you're not playing regularly, right? So your bones, his body's not facing that kind of regular pressure that it would be, that it's not going to be used to when he eventually comes back. So he needs to build it up slowly, I think, with Zion, and build his way back up into conditioning. And Davis is the only college player averaging 20 plus 8 and 2. Dude is having like 8.5 boards as a guard. So is that, Johnny Davis? Looking forward to seeing more of these, meaningful games, right, in March. So it's intriguing. I'm probably 50-50 now in terms of focusing on the regular season now, and then draft coverage coming up. So I'll be doing a lot of shows and conversations. Let's keep it rolling. You guys are the best chat in the business. Nick's Buzz, give the like button a shove, and let's keep it rolling. Juju, everyone wants to retire at the Garden. I remember that Steve Francis, Tracy McGrady days. Yeah, Penny Hardaway. Um, to me, the famous one that worked out the best was Jay Kidd. That season Jay Kidd had as a 40-year-old. Yeah, that was fun. Like, he was savvy, right? Jay Kidd was so transcendent that as a 40-year-old, yeah, even his brain, almost like a CP3, their brain is still so much of an asset on the court that it don't even matter if their body's not functioning, the way it used to. A 40-year-old Jay Kidd, like was like a Rajon Rondo. He could see 3, 4, 5 plays ahead, and know where to be on the court. Right, it didn't matter whether he was, his body was, past it. As well, B Willis would like to see Aiton in New York. Right, it'd be a nice look. I feel, yeah, yeah, for real. And yeah, averaging, yeah, 2 assists, 2 assists as a guard. Question mark. Yeah, look, it's interesting. Some dudes, coming out. It's about fit as well. I would say, some of the teams they're on aren't totally suited to their skill set. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. The Knicks need to go all out on that point guard. And I salute Big Reaper. What's good? What's good? RJ Barrett's performance tonight was one to behold. Right, it'll go down as one of the biggest positives of this season. But we've still got 22 games to go. And like, yeah, Manchild said, J Kid set Mello, yeah, in a right mind as well. Yeah, and I was screaming for J Kid to hang around one more year, but the fluke thing is he was offered the Brooklyn Nets coaching job straight after his final season. Right, that was one of the most craziest situations we've been in. And got some other topics to touch on. You know, Obviously, tonight's game's in the book, but the run home, we know the stretch is brutal. We've got Philly home and home. That's, more losses going to pile up, I feel. But the rotations, what do we want to see for the rest of this season with Derrick Rose now out for possibly 1 to 2 weeks? So the earliest D Rose will get back, there'll be probably 15 or less games remaining. Right? Is it even worth throwing D Rose out there? Right? We could be mathematically out of contention by the time D Rose would even be right. And it might be the right thing to do. The best thing to do for D Rose is to just let him rest now with this situation, not even play him. Yeah, if we're out of contention, even if we're not, right, the chances are going to be so slim that it'd be very, very, very unfair. And let's give Deuce McBride a chance now, right? Let's give him that opportunity. Jericho Sims got an opportunity tonight to play against Bam Adebayo and that other bench center as well. I was happy about that. Um, Quentin Grimes is going to be out for a minute, so that means Cam Reddish is going to get some shine as well. So that's another positive. Cam Reddish hit some threes tonight, looked good. Looked a little rusty ball handling, some turnovers, passing the ball. But I think that was a lot of effect of the Miami Heat defense, yeah, as well. But moving ahead, look, there's some positives. I'm looking forward to seeing Mitch, continue to ball and just having a keen eye on that situation, to see what we do with Mitchell Robinson. I also want to look closely at the RJ situation, obviously, and how him and Julius work together. Um, I want to see less minutes of Fournier, less minutes of Alec Burks, and I want to see Deuce, quickly, and Obi get more minutes along with Cam Reddish and Jericho Sims off the bench as well. Because I think Jericho Sims is a keeper. I think he'll be a bench, he'll be a backup center for hopefully years to come. He's still learning. He's out of position a lot of the time. He's not the shot blocker that you know Nerlens and Mitch are, but he's got other ways to make up for it. Right? You saw him on the perimeter. He's one of our best perimeter big men in terms of defending the switch. Like, I mean, not even point guards could take him off the dribble. Like Kyle Lowry couldn't blow by Jericho Sims. Right? He's 6'10". He moves, shuffles his feet really, really well. And I think, yeah, Jericho Sims is a nice big man that can shuffle his feet. And D Ras into the building. Salute, peace. What are your thoughts, Diras, after tonight? Give us it. Tariq, um, with the Knicks team, do we really need a guard who averages low assist numbers? No, we don't. No, for real. Um, and also, we got some guards that can also score like quickly with low assist numbers. Manchop, we go on 0 out of the next 10, then youth movement begins. So let's start the youth movement sooner, man. Let's get that sooner. And B Willis, every time we get rolling, they come out players, they come out players and coach J Kidd and Woody, and they want me to the New York Payne and Scott Perry. Yeah, right, always passed it. And yeah, for Payne and Perry, you always passed it. That's the shame about New York, right? Dudes just coming in here, um, collecting a check, and then it's a situation all over again of us having inconsistency, right? I'm sick of it. Even probably the dude we had for the longest was Ray Felton recently, right? We had the Linsanity for a second. We had Tony Douglas didn't work out. The J Kid thing was nice, but like I said, it was for a hot minute. Then it was Ray Felton for a couple of years, and then ever since then we've been back to square one. We've had Tony Roten, we've had Emmanuel Mudiay, we've had Trey Burke, we've had Ramon Sessions. I mean, we've had, I'm surprised we never got Ish Smith up in here. I mean, we've given everyone a chance, or DJ Augustine. It's been crazy. A salute Allah, salute peace. Star J's performance tonight is on our mind, and I was saying I feel like we're going to see a lot more of these soon, and the offense tonight really featured him tonight, which was the best thing about tonight's game. They featured him, and Jarrett Jack. How could I forget Mike and Allah? Peace with that, Jarrett Jack. Um, Frank Ntilikina, um, to name a few. I'm pretty sure we signed some others out of the G League. Ryan Archie-Diacono, the legend, um, and Mike Bibby, B Diddy, Baron Davis, Mike Bibby when he was 5 years past it. Um, we need that point guard. Yeah, absolutely, we need that. And Sherwin M is the next coach after Tibbs. Manchild, how do you feel about Tai Tai? Would he be an upgrade? Yeah, I think he'd be an upgrade for sure. Let's see in March Madness. Like I said, there's going to be some diamonds in the rough. There's going to be dudes that become real star potential that shine as well. Let's be honest. Let's think about it. And yeah, Alexi Cheved, another one, our fave. Phil Jack's fave. And let's be honest. How many people, be honest. How many of you thought Josh Giddey would be in top 5 in the Rookie of the Year? How many even thought Josh Giddey was worthy of the 6th overall selection? I want to see some honesty. And like I said, yeah, there's prospects. They come up. They don't wow you, but their game might be more suited to the NBA. Um, so yeah, let's let Walt Perrin, let's let our scouting department do what they need to do what they do best. I think they're going to do a lot of research. They were on the money with Trey Mann. They were looking for Chris Duarte. Those guys are having great rookie seasons. So, and then they got Quentin Grimes. So, I mean, they've got the track record. Let's be honest. They're hitting on some of these things. What they need to do is be silent, like Ron said. Be silent about who they're working out. Try to be, try to be a bit more cautious about letting it out of the bag. And Mike D would take Mike Bibby, that's walking around now. He looks like a tank. Yeah, he's straight jacked. Is Mike Bibby now, right? Yeah, facts. And did you guys hear even Delonte West is working out now? He's getting his life back on track. Salute Delonte West. He's about to try to aim for the big three competition now. That would be a huge 180, 360 for Delonte West, right? If he could be back in the big three, with his life on track. But yeah, on these New York Knicks topics, right? The point guard situation has been a revolving door, right? How many dudes have come in here for a hot minute and played point for us for a game or two, and then never played ever again. Um, yeah, it's been a straight revolving door, and it's been way too long. We tried with Frank Ntilikina, that didn't work out. Um, you know, there's been way too many come through, and I feel like the one that never ever and never lived down was one other than Steph Curry. We had him; he was the point guard we wanted. It would have changed us forever. We missed out on one pick as well, and that's how fickle this thing can be, right? That would have changed our fortunes forever. And yeah, we never got the point since Prime Earl, since Prime Clyde. And Manchild, yeah, everyone knew Giddy had potential, but how many had the balls to make that swing and actually get him in there? Now, I understand the internationalness out of it was the mystery. Josh Giddey, overseas, people are a bit worried about stacking that up against college talent. And with COVID, the borders were shut. Not many scouts could make it down here to the NBL and watch Giddey play. But he was putting up similar numbers to LaMelo in the professional league at 18. He had the size, the tools, 6'8", was a passing wizard. Um, it was a fair gamble and it paid off for Sam Presti. And a salute Tiger style. What the hell's the point of drafting guys if you're not going to play them? Um, Rose, you know, should have went with a young coach, but not that full Tibbs. Yep. What's the point of drafting guys that if you're not gonna play them? And yeah, you hit with that. I was surprised they used all 4 picks last season. Like I've said, we already had dudes not getting as many minutes with quickly with Obi, and then we brought in Grimes, McBride, Sims, draft and stash Rokas, and then we got more picks this season. Right, half our roster is young players that aren't playing a lot. And, Cam Reddish situation again. They made that trade. The front office and Tibbs just haven't been on the same page. Yeah, RJ, Cam, and 3-3-4. And B Willis, same thing with the Ja Morant, missing by 1 pick, just like Curry. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up too. He's the real deal, and we're missing out on that situation. But a nice consolation, yeah, is RJ, so you can't be too mad. The Curry draft, we had no consolation, right? We ended up with was it Jordan Hill, and the rest is history, man. Man. And Duras, we are first option player away from being a winning team, and RJ number 2 with Randall number 3. So that's a good point. Um, who that first option player could be remains to be seen. Maybe we need to package Randall in order to get that first player in here as well. We know RJ Barrett's now untouchable. Don't talk to us about trading RJ, and especially after tonight. He's got the league on notice, and it's great to see his games improved, the shooting, getting to the cup, and all of that, and let it out that you will relive you from the stress. Yeah, absolutely. We're here to decompress. Um, Obviously, the G League situation too. I don't know if you guys know how many games remain in the G League. Deuce McBride, if he's not playing with us, give him 38, 40 minutes with the G League, however many games are left. Lucas Samanic, another name, that has not even been spoken about, is still injured, nursing the injury, the left heel. That's frustrating too. I would like to see Lucas Samanic get 10, 5, 10, 15 games with us. Yeah, that's what I was anticipating earlier this season. But there's just no talk about Lucas Samanic. No one's even covering Westchester like they should be. I don't know if I'm not following the right dudes, but they've gone ghost on that situation with Luca, and trying to get any updates with that. And 007, yeah, same goes for McBride. Yeah, he can get on the floor unless he's carrying a mop to clean the sweat off the floor. He can't get on the floor. Um, yeah, it's been interesting with the dynamic. Tibbs was supposed to be the dude that pushed for McBride. We've been starved point guard all season. Um, to me, man, I'll put the biggest thing out of all this season out of failures is the Kemba Walker failure. The fact that we hyped this dude up. We rolled out the red carpet, we laid out the garden floor presser. It became a mess after that. 15, 20 games, he was out of the rotation. Like, talk about grand failures. You could put that up with the grand failures of those, like you said, Steve Francis, all of them, right? Even though it's been for a shorter tenure, the Kemba Walker thing, I know it was a low risk move. I'm just saying in terms of the expectations of some people against what actually happened, it was an absolute grand failure, the Kemba Walker thing. To the fact now that he's out of the team, you know, soon to be on the next plane smoking. Um, the fact that we brought that in as our starting point guard with an injury riddled Derrick Rose as his backup, that's front office malpractice, right? And then we're using the roster spot with Ryan Archie Diakonu. who I know is not even playing. But why even sign that dude? What's the point when Deuce McBride should be the dude? He's not even getting any burn. And we're signing a Ryan Archidiakonu just to fill the roster spot. Yeah, and Manchol, yeah, we drafted Jordan Hill, which left DeRozan on the board as well. Add injury to insult, yeah, insult to injury. And B Willis, the game has slowed down for RJ tonight. When they double teamed him, um, he figured it out. Yeah, absolutely, he did. Yeah, he did, and that's what's good to see, right? The game's slowing down, like you said, for RJ. He's not rattled by the moment. You know, the defense of Miami shifty. They trap. They put you in difficult spots, and I like the whole team actually for as a whole. They move the ball quick. I think Julius did pass out of the double team a lot better tonight. That's what I want to see. Um, the real issue was those lazy passes, in the passing lanes. I mean, we probably gave up 10, 15 points out of lazy passes tonight, right? So I'm not mad. We lost the game. Yeah, it was a clutch L, and a Tiger style. All I think about this season is coming to an end. It's 2:46 a.m. here in New York, and I'm watching the stream. This team got me going nuts 24/7. Yeah, you're not the only one, you're not alone. Um, but hey, it's a process. I'll say this, right? Rome wasn't built in a day. We've been losing long enough. Um, the team's in a situation where they can swing some flexibility. Um, what's got me heated is the wrong people in the wrong roles. Like I said, give these smart basketball minds, Walt Perrin, Brock Aller, asset management. Let these dudes steer the ship for us for greener pastures for the future. Don't let no 64-year-old old Tom Thibodeau's dictate decisions and Leon Rose, amateur presidents dictate all the decisions. Right. That's why they brought in this Rosas. That they need more basketball minds, executives wise, and saying, leading these decisions to set us up for the future with smart moves, like what Oklahoma's doing, Detroit, uh, Cleveland. The list goes on. And Tarek, what about our stash, Rokas Jokubaitis, overseas killing it? I'm glad you brought that up. Won the chip with Barcelona, and he's going to come over for Summer League. I got no doubt he'll come over for Summer League. They'll assess where he's at. We touched on earlier the buyout situation's tricky in Europe. He's NBA ready. From all scouts telling me, all the footage I'm seeing, right? Um, his numbers don't jump out at you for Europe, but that's the game there. It's much harder to get an assist in Europe. The player basically has to put the ball in the cup as soon as you pass it to them in order for it to count as an assist in Europe. And also, there's only 40-minute games, and also they play a lot of team ball. They play less isolation, so the points don't stand out, the assists don't stand out. But Rokas is savvy. He's got crafty handle. He's got a crossover, a nice hezzy move. He can shoot the three quite well. He's shooting, I think, 38%, 40% from three. He won't be rattled. He won't be pushed off the ball. He's strong frame. He's not the most athletic. He hasn't got the quickest first step. But Rokas Jokubaitis is NBA ready. He can contribute. He's not our savior. He's not the starting point guard. But in years to come, I think he can be a starting point guard in the NBA. He's got that much potential. And Tiger Style Knicks also made a mistake by not trading Mitch at the deadline. In 4 years, he hasn't even developed a baby hook, and you're really going to pay this man 15 plus mil? No way. That's the knock. Yeah, that's the knock on making that decision. Tiger Style with that situation. Mitch. He's sort of answered doubts about his injuries, answered doubts about the foul prone early on. He's coachable. For me, yeah, it lies with the money, like you said, the consistency in his game as well. He's an old school center. He can't stretch the floor. He can't uh, he can't score around the cup. He's got soft hands. He's got good hands catching oops, but he always goes back up, and gets stripped. He can never clamp the ball and just slam it down. He goes up, he keeps the ball down low. I like to see. I hope to see Kenny Payne, develop his game a bit more. But I understand at the same time they're not featuring Mitch either. They're not giving him touches, and you could contribute that to Tibbs. You can also contribute that to Mitch, showing that he's not quite ready yet. Um, if you ask me, man, like I said, gun to my head, um, sign and trade. You know, get an asset for him. I'd feel much more comfortable, letting him walk to get something for him, letting him go to Charlotte, Chicago, you know, Indy, one of these teams, Detroit, that want to get up and down. Let's see what we can get, right? Let's say let's say Indiana lose Miles Turner, and let's say they want to sign Mitch, and they also want to move on from Malcolm Brogdon, right? That could be a nice little play there. Um, like I said, there's a lot of options open to us. Detroit may want to help us out with some picks. Um, the good thing is, look, the positive thing is Mitch has played himself as to being, some trade bait, some trade asset. Earlier this season, Mitchell Robinson's value was a bit meh. You know, teams didn't really highly value Mitch as much as some Knick fans did. But this season, Mitchell Robinson's play has, improved his stock. It has, and a lot of these young teams are interested now. He's a quite affordable, you know, starting center for some of these young teams that aren't in salary cap hell. So that could be, that could count in our favor as well. And I really, like I said, I really want to see this front office um, turn this situation into a positive. We don't want to lose Mitch for nothing. That the knives would be out, the wolves will be out if we can't get an asset for Mitchell Robinson, or if we don't re-sign him. So that's where this front office got to straight do some work and not do some malpractice with this. Like you said, Tiger Style, the failure to trade him puts them on the clock, because it's a situation now where they're they're going to be forced to try and do something, either pay him or sign and trade. And Duras, keeping the faith, trust the process. There's light at this tunnel. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely, there's light at the tunnel, because we're not in salary cap hell for once, right? We're not with these bad contracts like Eddie Curry, Jerome James, some of these other unmovable deals, right? Carmelo Anthony's deal towards the end of his prime. You know, we may not get much for Julius, but he's absolutely movable. If we wanted to move Julius at the deadline, we could have moved Julius. That's what I'm hearing. We could definitely move Julius on draft night. Make no mistake. Um, yeah, and let's see. The Evan Fournier one's a little bit more tricky. Um, like he says here, 20 games left, and already looking forward to the draft and what moves might be made in the off season as well. Yeah, look, at this thing's just 24/7. It never ends. There's no off season in this league. The young teams are already building for the future and trying to get better, and we're doing the exact same. Um, there's only going to be one team in the NBA that wins the championship this year, and it's going to be back to square one for every other franchise, right? So we're doing the smart thing by looking ahead, right? And these guys, Brock Aller, asset management again, Walt Perrin, these dudes are doing their work and looking ahead to 3-4 years ahead. I think um, Walt Perrin probably knows the prospects coming up that are 15 years old right now, and Brock Aller probably knows who's going to be a free agent in 2026, right? Because these guys are supposed to be doing their job. And Elton Lee says we need to find the third team to get involved, in a trade package as well. Is that for Julius or for Mitch? But yeah, we need some partners, and I think, man, trade draft night. Just clear your schedule, book it out right now. Draft night's going to be wild. It's going to be roller coaster. If the last couple of drafts are any indication, the New York Knicks will be heavily active. We'll be wheeling and dealing, flying people up out of here, flying people in here, and it remains to be seen. But one thing I do know, I feel like we'll know Tom Thibodeau's fate before draft night. As soon as our season ends and there's exit interviews, the front office can catch up and talk it out. I feel like we're going to know, what the plan is in store for Tom Thibodeau. They're going to have conversations. B. Willis, Manshot, I want to lose 20 games to get a good pick every time. We try not to lose. We shoot ourselves in the foot. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing the other day. B. Willis, I could see Derrick Rose coming back for the fifth final game, and hitting a step back three, to get us a dub or something that takes us from ninth to like 12th or something like that. But yeah, I agree. It's been the same old every single time, right? We just can't choose a direction and stick with it, right? Just play the young players, the last 15, 20 games and wear the L's on our sleeve. And yeah, the season's over. And B will see I stopped getting hype after the 29th game. That's real. And the Lakers are actually a bigger mess than we do. Um, yeah, man, they got the coach on thin ice. LeBron, going to blow that thing up, and then he's going to go to Cleveland. We know when LeBron leaves a franchise, he always leaves it a hot mess. Um, it's going to be straight interesting. It's going to be really, really interesting. The Lakers. Yeah, look, the NBA, it's a new day each season, right? We've seen Cleveland come out the woods. Next year, my sleeper is Detroit. I think Detroit's going to become a lot better. You add another franchise dude to what Detroit's got cooking. Um, Charlotte's going to be dangerous again. Um, like I said, if we don't refresh this thing, I'll call it refresh, we're going to be left behind for the next 10-year generation right here. We've got RJ, we've got something cooking with RJ Barrett. We need to find the next dudes to pair with him sooner than later right now because other teams are doing it the right way. And Alton says New Orleans don't want Randall back, so we'll need the third team yet to have a shot at Zion. Okay. Yeah, that's where Scott Perry, Brock Aller, and that need to do their work. Elton, and it's interesting that you say because if we are to trade for Zion, they're going to want significant pieces back, but they've already had Julius Randle in their building, and they're not going to want Julius back again. So who's our number one trade asset for for Zion? It's probably going to have to be 5 first-round picks or 3 first-round picks to even enter the conversation. But you know what? Zion could straight hijack it all and tell every team, I'm not playing for you. I'm not signing for you." Like James Harden did, force his way to Brooklyn. Yeah, and Tarek taking the shortcuts has always proved futile. Yeah, and bad karma as well. And for once, we're in a different position because James Dolan ain't the one stepping in. But the issue is he's signing dudes that are incompetent and they're taking him for a ride. They're stealing his dough. And let's see. I think I give this front office one more summer. Like I said, they've had 2 summers already. This will be this front office regime's 3rd summer. I know time comes real quick, right? And it ain't no rash knee jerk reaction. If you give a front office 3 summers and they're not doing nothing, they're not moving forward, they're not moving the needle forward in New York City. I mean, it's fair to start looking at other things. And priority number one should be moving spin cycle Randall. This is now RJ's team. Everyone knows it. Front office needs to do whatever it takes to make that happen. And it was maddening to watch tonight. He was maddening to watch tonight. Spin cycle Randall. Yeah, the turnovers again. Look, that situation. I'm on that train. I'm not trying to jet Randall out here for no value, but at the same time, yeah, my number one move would be try to find a taker for Randall. Um, and also, yeah, the point guard, your situation. I'm okay with not swinging for the fence and trying to bring Zion and things like that. I'm more patient. I think we could still build this thing the right way. RJ Barrett is still so young. He's young enough so that we can move Randall on. We can move the other vets. Try to stack some other nice picks and pieces. Build for a couple more years, and then we'll see if Spider Mitchell or the next star wants to come here. And E. Gibson, New York Knicks has to move on from the vet role players and build with the youth like most of the teams in the NBA. Yeah, absolutely. The timeline is now. The timeline has shifted, and we need to get with that. The front office needs to be smart, right? Will Y West and Leon are young dudes, right? They're not Tom Thibodeau's age. If they're smart, they want to save their own neck. They want to save their bacon. They'll pitch to James Dolan. Okay, hey, look, we made a few mistakes, but this is what happened. Tom Thibodeau got us the 4th seed. We thought we were a little bit closer than what we were, so we swung these moves to compete. But let us rectify this now. let us, get back more on the RJ's timeline. We'll change coaches. We'll, we'll put Tom Thibodeau in this role, or we'll move him on. We'll bring in we'll elevate Johnny Bryant or something, and we'll start building through the youth. And yeah, like we were, um, yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be interesting. Tonight, it was more positive than negative for me. We took the L. RJ showed out. Jericho Sims, got ahead of Nerlens Noel and Taj Gibson. The Taj Gibson situation got a lot of people upset, and that's been rectified. Um, I'm actually looking more forward to the next 22 games than what I was before tonight. Before tonight, I was a bit meh. I was thinking, we're going to see Alec Burks again. We're going to see the same issues, but tonight against Miami, RJ, showed a lot tonight. I'm extremely happy for that, and that building block for the franchise. Jericho Sims is now getting burned. Um, let's wait a couple more losses. Alec Burks should probably be taken out of the starting point guard spot soon. Um, mathematically, we're almost out of the 10th seed. You know, we're not almost, but we're close enough to becoming quite unrealistic with the next two home and homes against Philly. We've got some tough games against Brooklyn coming up as well, and I think we're going to see some changes now. I think Leon Rose and that they're getting the pressure to make that pivot. And Elton says Randall to Orlando for Mo, Terrence Ross, and Jalen Suggs, Fultz, and a couple of picks. Woohoo! That'd be nice, Elton. That'd be a haul. If we could get Mo Bamba, Suggs, Fultz, and a couple of picks, man, that'd be crazy. I don't know if they will want to move on from Suggs, but hey, you're right. They do got Cole Anthony. They do got RJ Hampton out there. They do got Gary Harris. Yeah, it's crowded. It's crowded over there. And B. Willis asked about Killian Hayes. Yeah, not too high on Hayes. He does have upside. I think he's got to find a new home from Detroit. They got dudes there now. Let's see. I think it'd be a flyer. A flyer for Killian Hayes, but I don't think he's the dude we're looking for. Um, I think we need a bit more of that dude with the killer instinct, killer mentality, like a Garland, like a Cole Anthony, like a Ja Morant, Donovan Mitchell. We need that kind of dude right now for the point guard spot. And when Jericho starts playing behind the defense, he's going to be a problem. Yeah, I love the fact that he can switch on the pick and he can stay in front of the guards. Right, that's going to be critical. That's what Miami Heat's defense is built upon. Bam Adebayo, 6'9", extremely mobile, big, that can switch, can keep stay in front of the guard on an island. And Jericho Sims is like that dude for us. High value pick for Jericho Sims. Salute to the front office for pulling that switch and telling Tom Thibodeau no. You know, Taj Gibson's going to ride the pine, and Nerlens Noel's going to ride the pine. We're fed up with Nerlens Noel, right? Get him up out of here. And I appreciate everyone after this rocking out late night, Saturday morning, Friday night. The feeling's right. This is Nick's Buzz. Give the like button a shove. We're rocking out after this career high from Star J Barrett, turning a new leaf, taking over the keys now. He's captain of the ship, and let's keep it rolling. Orlando must be drug tested, yeah, if they do that. And Irving Green, salute. No more French dudes. Yep, facts. Um, yeah, throw in a Pegasus in that Randall trade too to sweeten the deal. Uh, and yeah, like Elton says, move on from Fournier, and then we could take a look at Sexton as well. Yeah, Garland's rocking out so much that Sexton is expendable. Um, again, draft night is going to be crazy. Clear your schedule, book it out. It's going to be intense. We've got Walt Perrin in here. I trust what we're doing with the draft as well. He's going to get us that, either help us get to where we need to in terms of the right selection, or we might package the whole selection with Randall. A lot of flexibility and maneuvering we can make. And like B Willis says, we just need the point guard. that can hold it down, until we get the floor general up in here, right? Look, sooner rather than later. And to me, the point guard has got to be a dude that can shoot well, stretch the floor. For the simple fact that you saw tonight, you saw RJ Barrett. Most of this season get to the cup at will. He gets into the paint. If we have a think about if we had a point guard that can shoot, pull up from three, stretch the floor really well, that can play next to RJ, that's the backcourt of the future, right? A dude that can get into the paint, but it can also stretch the floor. Um, and I think, again, going back to the Spider Mitchell thing, that is my dude. That's the dude I want in here. Forget the Zion, forget Cat, forget Dame Lillard, forget Beal. If you pair Spider Mitchell next to Star J Barrett, that that's a championship backcourt for me. That's a championship backcourt right there in New York City. Donovan Mitchell again can get to the cup at will, just like RJ can. That's going to put extreme pressure on the D, and also those two dudes now look like they can pop it from three off the dribble, and that's going to be problem. And Tiger style, throw in Dolan's pin number in that deal while you're at it. Yep, facts. B Willis, that was a stressful season. This was a stressful season, and don't stress the draft out. Yeah, absolutely right. We'll be sweating, but we'll be there. Rest assured, keep it on lock. Barclays Center will be a ruckus that night. Whoever we select, um, again, we'll be doing heaps more draft coverage. Got you covered. Covering the rest of the regular season with this. More guests coming on thick and fast, and we're going to be doing more tankathons. Right now, we sit ninth selection has us at Ty Washington, which would be an incredible value selection for ninth. Now, obviously, March Madness hasn't happened yet, but ahead of him, Keegan Murray in eighth spot for Iowa, AJG Griffin for Duke, a small forward at seventh spot, Johnny Davis, then Shaden Sharp if he enters the draft, Jaden Ivey, Banchero, Holmgren, and then Jabari Smith. So again, people saying it's a weak draft. It's not strong with superstar potential, but if we can pick in the top eight, top 7, 8. I think we're going to get ourselves a point guard. We're going to get ourselves a point guard, whether it's Davis, whether it's Ty, whether it's Jim Montero, you know, get up and get Jaden Ivey. There's G League Ignite wings as well. That looks solid. We're going to get ourselves a solid player, I think, no doubt. And even to add to that, I don't know how many second round picks we have in this coming draft, but there's going to be a heap of value in the second round, right? There's going to be a ton of value, more than we've ever seen. I'm hearing that from pick 15 to pick 35, there's a lot of parity right there. So there's going to be a lot of switching back and forth, maneuvering, maybe trading back a little bit to get another asset and get the prospect we need. And Tarek, yeah, Donovan Mitchell's playing chess right now. He's keeping quiet. He's pushing for Utah, but let's see when the season's a wash, and let's see where Utah end up. Him and Gobert, that situation. His bro Joe Ingles was traded. Um, all signs point towards a ticking bomb, in Utah, and that's going to go off sooner than later, right? Another dude that just again this confidence around Donovan's circle that believe he's not in a big enough market as well. So where there's smoke, there's fire. And 007, McBride has scored over 30 in the G League and puts up high assist numbers as well. But Tibbs just won't play him. Tibbs needs to go big time. Yeah, Tibbs wants to win games. He believes in McBride. He believes McBride will be a player. He doesn't believe McBride is a player that can help the Knicks win right now. Um, McBride balled out against Houston, where he put up that crazy game. Was it? I think it was like a double double. Um, and then the next couple of games, he didn't have a great game, and Tibbs pulled the pin. Like he just pulled the pin straight away because he was trying to win games. Deuce, he's lighting it up in the G League. There's a big difference with the G League, but yeah, he's absolutely worth NBA minutes. Like, no doubt. Like he should be getting the backup minutes at least, not quickly. I think Deuce should be getting the 15, 20 minutes at least as the backup. and get Alec Burks out of the starting point. Right, we that's another big issue. We hurt Alec Burks' trade value by playing him 30 minutes a night. Right, we going into this season, I was certain we'd get a first round pick from a contender for Alec Burks. And the fact that we had to attach Alec Burks with Cam Reddish just to get a first round selection from LA, in 2026, 2028, that was front office malpractice right there. They should have told Tibbs to stop playing Alec Burks at the starting point, right? That killed his trade value. And Elton says here, the hidden gem in is Michael Beasley from OKC. We should take a serious look at him as well. Is that Darius Beasley? I think you mean. Michael Beasley, of course, is the one walking bucket. The favorite player's favorite player, and yeah, I agree. He's got some talent, and so does Simons from Portland. Right, man. If we could trade them Julius and a pick for their top 10 pick and Simons, swing that trade. Swing that trade. And Troy says quickly has no talent. That was a horrible draft for us. Look, I think Quickly's got some time. Let's see. He's playing out of the role. He's not the point guard we need right now. I think he's overthinking things. He just needs to go back to playing with that freedom of the first season, right? Not. I think the front office and the coaching staff did mess him up a bit. They're to blame. Starting back from summer league, they played Quickly in that point guard spot. They tried to force that too much on him. Tarek, yeah, I meant DM is the guy to get your chess. Going for Zion is playing marbles. Yeah, right. Facts. Donovan Mitchell, the guy to get. Yeah, and chess. Yeah, that's the chess move. Going for Zion is marbles. Um, it's interesting with Cam here as well. The decisions are going to have to be made next season, ladies and gents, with RJ and Cam. Right, they've only got one more year after this. Next year is their fourth year of their rookie deal. Of course, they could sign them a qualifying offer and for the fifth year, but that'd be playing it dangerous. So the Duke threesome. Let's see if that's their play. Um, it's going to be whichever dude they go for, right, they're putting their necks on the line because this front office is hanging by a thread. Like I said, what they do this summer is their legacy. The first season was nothing; was just the start. Last summer it was a mess. Um, this summer is their last chance. I feel like this summer is their front office legacy on the line because really what has this front office done? They've drafted Quentin Grimes, which is nice. Deuce, Rokas could play a part in the future. Sims could play a nice part, but that's Walt Perrin doing his magic. That's not really the front office too much. What they do with Mitchell Robinson and what they do with Randall, and that's going to be their legacy this off season. And he says, yeah, I thought we did well in the draft this season, but New York has a history of bad drafts, which has hurt us. That definitely um, going for dudes with too much of a project. Kevin Knox, 18 years old. Frank Ntilikina, 18 years old. RJ Barrett was 18, 19, but he was that pedigree, the best talent, in the nation coming up as well. So he had that pedigree. Yeah, and Elton says he can be our starting three for the next 7 years. Darius Baisley, ladies and gents. Yeah, OKC, they can't put a foot wrong. They killed the Russ trade. They killed the PG trade. They got SGA, which is a steal. They killed the Josh Giddey pick. I mean, Sam Presti is just turning that franchise in again. He's he's doing it. What he needs to do to build a successful winning team. And Tiger style. Love the interviews with Berman. You read all the articles. Yeah, he gets a lot of grief from people, but he asks the questions I'd want players and coaches to answer. Yeah, and he cracks you up. So I appreciate that as well. Yeah, it's always a good pleasure to hear this feedback. But yeah, Mark's a great dude. No, I mean, I got a chance to know him, outside of obviously, the daily stuff. Great person. But yeah, I understand. Fans ride and die with the franchise. these beat writers, they're not fans of the team. Like they're completely disconnected from being a supporter. Um, but Mark, 22 years of covering the team, he has grown s- uh, you know, uh, some fond attachment to the team. Like he wants to see the team make the right trades. Yeah, he wants to see the team finally become a winner as well. He was happy the Knicks didn't make a bad move at the deadline, like he said to us, because he felt, like we know, every move the Knicks had to make, they had to attach an asset just to move Evan and move Cam to attach an asset. Alec Burks, again, his trade value was killed as well. So let's keep it rolling, and we'll be bringing you more coverage, more interviews as well. Enjoy it, bringing this content for the fans, and myself as a fan. It's great, it's fun, but you got to be real about things as well. Like you got to look at things objectively. Like if you've been following the Knicks long enough, we've been bad for so long. We've made so many poor moves. It's time to not try to microwave this thing no longer. Right, build through our strength, which is the draft. Be a bit more patient with moves. Let these executives do their job in terms of the smart basketball minds. The executives, Walt Perrin leading the draft, Brock Aller, asset management. Right, Brock Aller has been successful at other organizations. Walt Perrin has been successful at other organizations. Worldwide West and Leon Rose, not so much. They've they're smart in their field, but they are amateurs in terms of this world. They're new. They've got to prove themselves. I want James Dolan and that to let these smart basketball minds do their thing. Let them do what they're good at, and don't let Tom Thibodeau interfere with what Brock Aller suggests, what he wants to do in terms of managing assets. Let him rock. Let him do that. Let him handle that situation. Right. He's done it before in Cleveland. He's been successful. He's helped Cleveland get to where they are right now. He's helped Cleveland build that platform, and he's going to help us do the same thing. If we let him. And IQJ, salute. Yeah, Tarek. Yeah, they wanted to give up on RJ in year 1, 2, and 3, and now they want to give up on Quickly in year 2. I hope Quickly makes them eat their words as well. Yeah, like we say, it's about players being in the right roles. I think they messed up Quickly a little bit. We're forcing something on him too early. This is his sophomore year. We try to, push him into that point guard spot a bit too much. And yeah, he needs to improve with his court vision, passing the rock, keeping his dribble alive, working on his handles, things like that. But yeah, that's not Quickly strength. Um, Keep him in that second, that two guard spot off the bench for now. Keep him with a guard play like D Rose for next season. Hopefully D Rose can come back healthy and be that backup guard for us if Deuce McBride's not starting, and let them build their value that way. Right. I always say you got to become excellent at something before you can become good at other things. Right. Don't try to grow your game in so many facets like IQ when your other rest of your game ain't where it needs to be either. Right. Master that first before you start to take on new things. You know what I mean? And I don't know what Quickly's coaching, what he's working on in the summer and that, but he just seems to be all over the place, right? He went from using the floater so heavily to never using the floater much anymore. And then he's trying to build the mid-range shot, but he's still jacking up, logo shots as well. So he's been a bit all over the place Quickly, but yeah, I still feel like his rookie contract, can be a situation that gives him time to see what he can do in year 3 and year 4. Like you say, Tarek. And IQ, the Knicks need to somehow manage to acquire a serviceable point guard. Yeah, facts, right, in the worst way. Um, but let's see, we got Deuce McBride, we've got 22 games left. We got a young guard overseas in Rokas that's kind of starting for a team and coming off the bench for a tough environment with Barcelona as well. I think we got something in Rokas. Now, I'm not going to say he's the point guard of the future for us or anything, but he might stay in Europe and cook for a few more years, but he will make it to the NBA at some point, right? He's doing a lot already at 21 years old. Um, he might be a career backup, but he's a very, very savvy guard. He's a solid pro in the making. Yeah, who knows what could happen? The second season could be his breakout. If he stays in Europe. But I believe we will get a solid look at Rokas in the summer league. Which is going to be great. Can you imagine another summer league, which is great? We can look forward to that in July with Deuce McBride playing with Rokas again as well, and whoever we draft with Quentin Grimes playing and Jericho Sims playing in the summer league as well. That's going to be something to look forward to. And Blood of Depanda. The Knicks should hire Mark Jackson as a consultant for quickly induced to develop. So yeah, a savvy guard that can learn and mentor from them. And yeah, it remains to be seen what happens with the assistant coaches. Right, we got Kenny Payne, we got Johnny Bryant up in here. We're missing quite Woodson quite a lot with that situation said. And I think yeah, we got some nice development coaches. I think we're trending in the right direction. With that. Um, but yeah, it's going to be a situation where we need to let them do their thing, and work with these dudes. And Tarek says quickly will be a scorer and a serviceable a spot duty guard, but not the floor general full time. Could be wrong, but hope I'm not. Hope I'm wrong. But yeah, I'm wrong. Yeah, and like I said, just let a player show you who they are. Don't anoint someone too soon. You know, there was people crying out for quickly to be that starting point guard too soon, and at the same time, there's people pointing out that he's not. He's hopeless. It's somewhere in between right now. We're a little bit too heated with that. With evaluating and giving up on dudes. Like I said, I wasn't really that enamored with RJ's second season, but I didn't give up on that. Not ready to give up on him right now. Not ready to give up on Sims. Not ready to give up on Quickly or Obi. You just never know with these dudes. Like we saw Julius Randle become the most improved at 26 years old, right? These guys are all lottery picks, or most of them. They could turn it around in a hot minute. They could get with the right coach this summer. They could work on the right parts of their game. Yeah, they might look like a hot mess right now, but that don't mean that they can't improve, that they can't get work on skills, get better at that. They're just got to find the right fit. Maybe even this organization isn't the right fit for them, but it don't make them trash. Um, like I said, this team needs to fix its philosophy where they're just shipping dudes out on rookie contracts too soon. Um, Allow this rookie contract. Any player that's drafted in the lottery should be allowed 3-4 years of their rookie contract, and then you make an evaluation. Right? You don't make no evaluation after year two as well, because they're a lottery pick and they're one of the best talents coming out of college. At that time, you just got to you just got to let them play and evaluate. Constantly evaluate. And Tiger style, IQ is not a point guard. His role model is Lou Will, and let him be that, the six-man microwave off the bench. And you can tell he's thinking too much out there. Yeah, it's clear as day. Yep, definitely. And I think it started from his summer. He's a workaholic, and also the summer league, messed him up a bit. They had that nice game where he had 10 assists, in the summer league. And outside of that, it's been a hot mess for Quickly in terms of this season. Right, you could tell he's thinking too much, and also the rules I think have played a part. Like no one's speaking of this too much, but how has Trey Young looked this season? Um, where is Atlanta doing right now? Atlanta are a hot mess right now, like in intense spot. Like who would have predicted that? The rule changes for these smaller guards that draw a lot of fouls, that's affected their game a lot. If you go back and watch the rookie year, IQ used to draw a lot of fouls and manipulate those fouls with the defender on his hip. But now, they can't do that no more. So quickly his bag of tricks have reduced. He's got the floater, he's got a pull up three. He's not the greatest off the dribble. He's not the quickest guard either, and he's not got a tight handle either. So I think quickly is, he's having to learn. He's having to learn new things. And IQ says, yeah, I said serviceable, and I don't want to give the Knicks yet too hard of a task. Facts. Yeah, 007, Angelo. Just imagine this. If everything falls into place, a lineup of Mitchell, Donovan Mitchell, RJ, Cam Reddish, Zion, and Mitch, or someone else at center, and that would be a boy can dream. Yeah, I mentioned that briefly earlier. I think Zion and Donovan have to be the future target, have to be at the top of the list right now. I think of future targets for this club, ladies and gents, and you know, obviously a lot of things have to shake out with Utah and New Orleans. Zion's closer to being a realistic thing because his timeline in New Orleans is coming up soon. But hey, you never know. A bombshell could drop this summer with Donovan, so that bears watching. But we all know front offices have plans, but that yeah, they don't always come to fruition. But yeah, I feel like this front office is looking ahead to those dudes. Maybe like we touched on earlier, DeAndre Ayton might be another future dude that they're looking at. And Elton says, yeah, quickly is becoming a niche player as well. Yeah, and look, another situation where his value was pretty high last season. Like we could have got something for IQ pretty good. I think Portland would have loved to pair him with Dame. Him and Dame are quite tight. Um, but yeah, like I said, just have faith that a player will turn it around. Let quickly soak on a bad season. Let him get with his trainer. Let him clear his mind. Players run on adrenaline in their rookie years, right? They're fresh, they're new in the NBA, they take the league by storm. The second year, it's a bit of an adjustment. They feel like they're probably ready to take that huge leap, but realistically, they're not ready, because the league's a whole nother beast. And Tarek says, all I need from a rook is hard working, and some flashes, which is why I knew RJ wouldn't fail. I won't pretend I didn't see what Quickly did last year. Yeah, yeah, facts. Hardworking, um, good family, good mentality yeah, good foundation is what you need as a ball player, right? Because yeah, basketball's one part of their life. They play the game, they train, then they go back home. You know, what do they do outside of their time? You know, you gotta get a bit of life balance. Basically, you're in the gym all the time. You got the pressures. You need something to fall back on, right? I feel like those two guys, like you say, Quickly has a solid family foundation, and RJ as well. He's got the whole family situation with his godfather, with his father. Yeah, and Troy says Mitch is gone. Yeah, I can see that. He's switched agents. He's been up and down in terms of implying that he wants to let his agent handle the thing. Um, yeah, he wants the bag. He's healthy now. Just go for it, Mitch. He's been underpaid. I would not be mad if Mitchell Robinson just takes the best deal available to him. There's going to be no shortage of suitors. There's going to be Chicago, Charlotte, Detroit. Who knows? It could be Miami now. Yeah, Miami's interested in Mitch. They want him to come off the bench behind Adebayo. I mean, it's just going to be crazy. Canalia, is Bamba going to be a backup? And if so, should we get him? Yep, I feel like we should go for Bamba as well. Orlando could be a nice trade target because because of Scott Perry has ties. Scott Perry has ties with Orlando. They're trying to move on from Terrence Ross. It's a logjam with Jalen Suggs, Cole Anthony, RJ Hampton, Markel Fultz, Bamba as well. Yeah, look for Orlando to make some deals, some wheeling and dealing. And yeah, be Willis, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Quickly went from the 2 to the 1. Um, yeah, it wasn't working all year. And Elton says if we get Zion, Mitch would have to be part of the package. Yeah, we need to be giving up something, don't we? And New Orleans has a center though. And Tarek says New Orleans will try to deal Zion to the suckers. Oops, I meant the Knicks, just the way the Celtics did to us off. um, that's what I mean about the smart front office. We're at their mercy, basically. It's the eye of the beholder. Scott Perry wanted DeMar DeRozan. The other dudes didn't want that piece of that. Lonzo Ball, there wasn't consensus on Lonzo, but there were some people in the front office that were interested in exploring that. Um, who knows what kind of back and forth they're going to be having over these prospects, moving forth. But I feel like they've got to come to some sort of agreement with some players, right? Like there's some talent, young talent like Mo Bamba, um, Jalen Suggs, things like that, Cole Anthony, Sexton. There's some talent around that some teams need to move on from. And I feel like the Portland thing's something to watch, New Orleans something to watch. Um, Portland shipped out CJ McCollum, they shipped out Robert Covington, all those dudes, and then they also have two top 10 picks currently in seventh and currently in the 10th spot. So they want to build around Dame. So look for Portland to shift those for some vets and look to build around Dame again with that situation said. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. These next 22 games are going to come thick and fast. We've got a matinee Sunday against Philly, home and home against Philly, uh, with James Harden up in there now. It's going to be interesting. Philadelphia are obviously pushing for it, full throttle. So it's going to be interesting. A salute agent. A salute. The chat's been on fire. It's been a great show. It's been fun. I'm ready to wind up for today. The New York Knicks took another L, 10 games under. We're getting closer to accepting, the youth movement. The front office is making moves right here, and we're getting ready to see some deuce time. Hopefully we continue to see Sims. Sims play some more meaningful minutes. Cam Reddish looks like he'll get some burn now with the unfortunate injury of Quentin Grimes. I think Quentin Grimes, touch wood, fingers crossed, it's not a serious issue. Dislocation, it's probably going to be a couple of weeks. Let him heal. Sit D Rose out for the rest of this season. Sit D Rose out. No need to play that. And have D Rose come back and miss time like that. That'd just be horrible. We need to be smart with that. We need to be smart with that. And like I said, there's going to be a lot more draft coverage, a lot more talk about the future and coming up as well. It's always good chopping it up with everyone. It's the chat show. We shout you out. We keep it 100. Healthy Knicks talk. So you guys give your opinions out there. And tonight was a good night overall. I'm going to say Star J lit it up. Took it to Jimmy Buckets, took it to Miami, and he earned their praise. It was just great to hear another team like Miami recognize talent, when they see it, and that's what you want to see. You want to see an organization that's at the top really acknowledge when a player's on the come up, and ready to take over. Right now, the New York Knicks need to recognize that. Julius Randle needs to play a little bit more unselfish this season. Feature the hot hand, move the ball like a hot potato, and get RJ in his spots. Right, we need to see Star J getting his spots because he's going to continue to grow in confidence and ball out, for this team. And Jericho Sims and the Mitch thing, the clock's ticking on Mitch. Obviously, there's like 20 something games left. Mitchell Robinson could be a free agent, a sign and trade, could be an asset we hopefully don't lose for nothing. So also that bears watching. That's one of the biggest storylines for me. The rest of this season is the Mitchell Robinson thing, because Randall may stay, and the biggest thing is Mitch's contract, and we know he's a free agent. So that's a glaring situation that's going to unfold, right before our eyes as well. So, but as always, been a pleasure. I'll roll the outro and shout you all out again. This has been fun, and we'll see you soon. We'll see you on the next one. After the most likely after the Philly games early next week. Got some more shows planned next week, some guests to come through as well. So keep a lookout. Like, subscribe, keep those notifications on, so you get the message, when we go live. And we've got some things popping as well. The streets are buzzing. You guys are keeping it popping. And yeah, game recognized game. Yeah, facts, right? And let's get it on the next one. Get some rest, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.